Hey everybody, what's going on? Friday night. It's my favorite show of the week.
Yeah, I like this show because we can chill out and drink. We both got rum and cokes, and we're gonna fucking bring you into the fucking weekend. This is weekend time, man.
Yeah, man.
And weekend is kind of like open lines Friday. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. We as the drunk, and we're not going out tonight.
Yeah.
So we're probably
so we can just hang out.
Yeah.
Because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So we'll probably
go out tomorrow night, but
yeah, we're gonna go out tomorrow, but we'll probably get pretty trashed.
Saturdays are better.
Yeah. So
well, we don't have a huge amount of rum left.
No.
Although enough to get fucked up. Actually, we have a whole bottle of wine still too.
We can do that. In an emergency, we can open
in
up that
an emergency, we have emergency wine.
Yeah, we got backup wine. Emergency backup wine. It's like auxiliary power.
Auxiliary power.
Yeah.
That we haven't even opened yet.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, remember, Anastasia brought it.
Yeah.
And I still because remember I was gonna drink it one night and I couldn't find the corkscrew, and then I was just like, well, fuck it, I guess I'm not drinking.
Yeah. Trying to think what's going on. I was just talking to Murder Hornet on another channel, and through the back channels because I got him on Messenger.
That sounded dirty.
Yeah, and we were going on about
y'all talking
Ukraine, and he says we want to talk about it right here. It's too early to talk about Ukraine.
That's no fun.
We could talk about Ukraine later, if it arises. But
like I said, that's no fun.
It's not that fun. Girls don't like to talk about that shit.
Well, like I said, it's Friday night and it's it's weekend. I've been working all week.
I only talk about that kind of shit when I'm drunk and I get mad and I go on a tirade about how stupid people are. How stupid these motherfuckers are.
You always go on tirades.
Yeah.
You don't have to be drunk for that.
In the meantime, we could talk about anything about entertainment, true crime, paranormal, anything you guys want to talk about. And we can also talk about the new fucking Mad Max movie. We haven't seen it, but I subscribed to some guys who saw a sneak preview of it, who I pretty much trust them. They tend to be, those particular guys, they're kind of on the periphery. They're not Midnight's Edge or anything, but I respect a lot of what they say too. These guys have seen the new Furiosa, Mad Max Furiosa. And they said, if you liked Fury Road, you'll like this.
Which I did.
Right.
Very much.
If you didn't like Fury Road, you're not gonna like this. It's very much the same movie. It's the same tone. It's just a backstory of where the Citadel came from and Morton Joe, and it explains a lot more. You know, the Bullet Farm and Gastown, how all that emerged. I have a feeling that, and I'm going to tell you, as soon as they said it was spoiler free, but they said some of the main points in the video that I watched, I said, fuck it, I don't want to know anymore. And what they said is that the actress playing Furiosa knocks it out of the park.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, that they thought she would be good. She was even better than what they expected.
The trailer looks awesome.
The dude who plays fucking Thor, what's that guy's name?
The Hemsworth?
Yeah,
one of the Hemsworths.
I think his name's Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth, I think is what his name is.
There's more than one, isn't there?
The dude who plays Thor. He plays a villain in it. And they said he's just great. He just chews up the fucking scenery in it as a villain. And Morton Joe's in it, but it's got a different actor, of course, because the original actor died and he was elderly. So it's a younger Morton Joe in this.
Because it's a prequel.
Yeah. They didn't say anything about him, or if they did, I didn't want to know anymore. I was under the impression, just based on little clips that I saw, is that he's a good guy in it. That he's, which I suspected that he was a good guy. Even though he was the bad guy in Fury Road. But it was kind of a situational thing. I think he got old.
Situational bad guy.
Well, I think he was getting old and he was getting desperate for offspring, and it drove him to do shit that he normally wouldn't do. I mean, the other guys were like, this whole thing is nothing more than a family squabble, which is what it was. And like I read some comic books that were canon about Morton Joe and the breeders, what they called them, and that's what they were. They had agreed to it. It was either that or live out in the wasteland. And he wasn't having sex with them. It was artificial It was artificial insemination.
Turkey baster method.
Yeah, he couldn't have sex. He was too damaged by like radiation and age and shit. But you know, that's another story though. But this one is about what was going down when they were younger.
I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah.
But it's that movie and Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. Those are the two that I'm most excited for this year.
And I saw some clips of Furiosa. She's young in it. She still has that black forehead. They wore grease on their forehead. It was some kind of mark of rank. But she has long hair. She doesn't. She at least in the photos that they show, she's not shaved like she was in. Remember, I think she was actually bald.
Yeah.
Wasn't she? Furiosa, I think, was bald.
Yeah.
In Fury Road. You got a real short hair. She's got long hair in this. It looks good, and she's riding a motorcycle.
Well, like I said, I liked Anna Taylor-Joy in pretty much everything I've seen her in. The Witch, Last Night in Soho, lots of other movies she's been in.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that one.
That looks really good, actually.
Yep.
Zach says, hey, Jenny, have you ever written anything outside of horror for fiction? I bet you could do a really good dark comedy. I have done kind of funny stories, but they tended to be like short. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things where whatever I write, like sometimes there's humor in it, but it usually just goes to horror like naturally because that's just how my brain works. So I could try to write other things, but I'm sure it would like turn out to be a horror story whether I wanted it to or not. CB said I'm smoking hot tonight.
Who said that?
CB.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
she always is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you saying I'm not other times? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Oh my god, I got so behind. Okay, we've got somebody, Tara Milstead. I watched a lot of your videos, including live. Well, hey, welcome to the chat.
Yeah, first time we've seen you here.
This is a pretty friendly place in here.
Yeah.
You know, I was seeing all the regulars. Wicked Hag likes my top. Yeah, this is actually like, it's a dress, but then there's like a shrug over it. Tara said I'm a goth queen. I like to think so. Yeah, CB said the guy was Toe Cutter in Mad Max was the bad guy in Fury Road. Yeah, it was a cameo.
Yeah, it was the same actor.
He died of COVID.
Yeah. Well, he was also old.
Well, yeah. But you know. And Zach also says Francis Ford Coppola's new and possibly last movie, Megapolis, is coming out next month, I think. I will probably watch that. I like Francis Ford Coppola's movies. CB said Mad Max from 1979 is still the best. I mean, I like all the Mad Max movies.
Yeah.
The
weakest is Thunderdome.
Yeah, but that's still good. It's still watchable. But like, honestly,
the tone's different. You can tell it's an American movie. But I like them all.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, I still like Thunderdome.
Yeah, but it's just that's like the least best.
Yeah,
one.
It's just a little off. The dialogue is too repetitive, too sing-songy. The little kids chanting all the time. It's just everybody was chanting and doing fucking weird shit.
Stop chanting, just talk.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. It kind of had a fantasy fairy tale kind of tone to it. It was a weird. I think it might have had something to do with the soundtrack, in the score. I think if the score was improved, not soundtrack, the score. If the score had been improved, you probably could have changed the tone of that movie and made it feel a little right. It felt wrong. Some people didn't like Tina Turner in it, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's like the best part about it, I thought.
Yeah. Well, she was American, and I think they thought it kind of ruined the fucking the Australian tone to it.
Right, but man,
I thought she was good.
Yeah,
I thought she was real good at it.
I don't know. I liked it, but but like I said, it is like the least.
Yeah, and you got some man babies already fucking crying that they're gonna turn it into a girls' brand like they did Star Wars. No, they're not.
Why do they hate girls so much?
Those movies.
That's why they don't get laid.
Oh, now they're gonna make it gay. Those fucking Mad Max movies, all of them were consistent. They were the same. It's that same director, the same kind of writing. It had that kind of stuff in all of them. Fucking Wes had a girlfriend, and he happened to be a dude.
Yeah.
On a chain.
Nobody said boo about it.
Yeah,
back
and
then.
that guy had his ex-girlfriend's name
Not that
tattooed
I
on
ever
his
heard.
arm. You had to fucking pay attention to
I mean, I'm sure people cried about it back then too, but we didn't have the internet, so we didn't have to listen to it.
Yeah. I thought that was bizarre. You know what I mean? Fucking, I was like, man, these motherfuckers are dangerous, okay? Fucking, he's got a boy on a chain.
As
and
one
that
does.
boy's got a girl's name tattooed on him. So it didn't seem to be his choice to be in this situation. You know, it was
Maybe
like,
he's a sub. He might have consented to that. That's the whole thing.
I think it was like something out of a maximum security prison where.
I mean, it could have been that situation too.
I
We don't know. We don't know the
I
history.
think he might have started out as a captive, somebody that they had fucking raided.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's more likely.
Yeah.
In the context of the movie,
Yeah.
that's probably more likely than just like a completely consenting dom sub relationship.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, if I see that nowadays, that's immediately what I go to. I don't think anybody
I don't think that's what happened.
kidnapped or
I
anything.
think he
But
was
yeah, it
fucking
is
just
Mad Max
taken
universe.
because
So.
he had that pretty ass blonde hair, and he's like, "You gonna be mine?" He carried him around on a fucking chain, and it looks like he had a little bit of that. What do you call it? A little bit of Stockholm syndrome. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Where
that'll happen after
he
a
was
while.
getting protected, so he was started. Okay, this ain't so bad. Better than being tied to the front of one of those trucks,
I mean,
like they were doing.
yeah. I mean, kind of the whole world was shitty, so it was just
Yeah.
kind of like probably better than a lot of things that could have happened.
Well,
It's all on a
not
spectrum.
too different from the medieval era, really.
Sure. Which I'm sure sucked for pretty much everybody. Well, like I said, we've talked about that before. Like, even rich people back then, like, shit in a bucket, and it was
Yeah.
just, like, in the corner.
Yeah.
So everything stunk, and everybody
Yeah.
was covered with lice and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like, even if you were the richest person of the era.
Yeah. Castles, some of those castles, people just pissed behind the tapestries. And dogs.
Yeah, just excuse me, I'm just going to
Yeah,
step
and
over
dogs
here.
just-
Okay, cool.
They had dogs in there, and the dogs were just pissing and shit everywhere. It wasn't as glamorized. But the
Yeah, they don't show that in the movies, do
no, that Versailles, that big palace.
Yeah.
They said that the stairwells all fucking stank like piss because they were having parties and they were just pissing in the stairwells.
Yeah.
Because the shit was so elevated and so classy. They said, "Fuck it, the king doesn't need bathrooms. There's no bathrooms in that shit." Original. King doesn't piss. What are you talking about? His guests don't piss. There were no bathrooms in
they? Yeah,
there.
that's right. We're too classy.
But
the
then,
king.
but then they'd fucking hand out drinks and have fucking whole parties, and they were supposed to have, I think, dudes run around with buckets, and you pissed in that. But the bucket
Man.
boy wasn't around all the time.
What a fucking shit job you had.
Yeah. They didn't think things through. They
Not
could
really.
they could think about some fucking awesome music, and they could write advanced fucking classical music.
They couldn't figure out
based on-
basic shit, though.
Yeah, musical theory. They could fucking make beautiful architecture and art. They didn't understand plumbing. They didn't even think about it. Yeah, something kind of missing there in the priorities. The
Oh, yeah, a little
the
bit.
priorities were a little out of priority.
Yeah, I kind of feel
Yeah.
like that was the case.
Yeah, I read about that shit. And then they said what's funny about the French royal family in that palace. Turns out they didn't really live in it. They lived in a little apartment that was a
Yeah,
part of
you
it.
can't live in a place that big.
Yeah, only in a couple little rooms. And it had facilities. But the rest of it was more like a museum. They didn't actually live in it. It's like they didn't like it either. Which is evidently what happens to a lot of people that own mansions.
Yeah.
They go, "This bitch is too big."
Like
And
I
he's-
said, you're only a little person. You can't
Yeah.
really like live in a fucking
Yeah.
20,000. You can't live in like a fucking super Walmart sized fucking
Yeah, you really
house.
can't live in anything bigger than what we're in right now.
Yeah, even this is kind of pushing it because
Yeah.
we don't even have like
We're not regularly going in these other rooms.
yeah, like there's some rooms that I don't go in
Yeah.
for like days at a time.
Yeah.
You know, not a lot, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of like
And you got to furnish this bitch. We don't have it all furnished.
that's the thing too. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like oh, that's what you think. Like you get all of this room, and it's like oh shit, I got to put all this crap in it. Like I
Yeah.
got to put furniture and stuff, and we didn't even
It's
bother.
just a place to fucking store your shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
And which is good, you know what I mean? But anything bigger than this is too fucking big. And
For anybody,
yeah.
unless you have like 20 fucking children.
Yeah, I was real interested in the mansion game, all right, and who buys mansions and what happens to them. and there's a whole mansion economy and a mansion scene, and it's not as cool as you think it would be. If you have a fucking mansion, chances are you'll never be able to sell it. It'll just sit there. Because a dude that can afford that mansion is going to build his own from scratch.
Because he doesn't want your fucking mansion.
He doesn't want your fucking mansion. He wants his own
your
mansion.
Your grotty old mansion. I want my fucking mansion the way I want it.
Yeah, and a lot of people that buy those have so much money, they don't care that they'll never be able to sell that mansion.
Yeah, they're like, whatever.
So a lot of those mansions
I'm a bazillionaire.
Yeah, so they abandon their own mansions while they're alive. Because they got 8 or 9 of them. That's some weird shit, man.
See, people
have so much money to do it.
Too much money.
Yeah, yeah.
Why the fuck would one person or even one family ever need that much fucking money?
And then they try
you just don't.
It's not about need.
Well, no,
it's
no, I'm just I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that practically, you don't need that much money.
They use them kind of like the way we would use a bed and breakfast or a what do you call them? A hotel. They go to a place and they go, well, I don't have to rent a hotel. I got a house there. It's a mansion. And then they just stay there for a couple weeks, and then they move to another one. You know what I mean? They move back to another one of their mansions. They're leapfrogging all over it. And evidently it looks, the ones that they show that have been abandoned, because guys in the urban exploration scene go in there and go, look at this mansion. This has been abandoned for 10 years. And they usually know the story, what happened, you know. The dude just couldn't pay for it. He lost his business, so it's still here. But they go through there and they realize that everything in there was ordered out of a catalog. All the furniture, everything. So it was done in by a company and just in one fell swoop. Bam! And dude didn't really live in it. Maybe only visited it a few times. And it has a feeling of artificiality. Like you're in a corporate hotel. It doesn't have a home feeling to it, really.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, just kind of buying something off the shelf kind of.
Yeah.
Because it always looks so sterile.
It's sterile and generic. And there'll be furniture in there that you can tell is just decoration. And it's not expensive. It's kind of like cheap furniture. And you can tell no one's ever sat in that chair, or you know what I mean, or no one's ever really been in that couch. It's kind of like have never really been in this room, right? Type of feeling.
It's kind of like, you remember back in the old days, like when your grandma had a house and there was a room in there that you weren't really supposed to sit in, and like the couch sometimes had plastic on it.
Yeah, so it's like you threw
that
room
that
away.
was like only for company, and like not even for any company, just for like fancy company.
Yeah, the company never came.
No, they didn't.
And
nobody ever
gave
sat
a fuck.
there.
Nobody gave a fuck about her fucking.
That's a very boomer thing.
It's boomer thinking, you know what I mean? Like,
or maybe older than boomer.
The visitors that never come.
That never come here.
I'm gonna have all this shit set out like it's for the fucking queen to show up, and you know. And
I got all these like towels in the bathroom that you're not allowed to use, and all these like little soaps shaped like shells that you're not allowed to use.
Yeah. And then what's funny is that
it looks nice.
They're acting as if it's a unique house. You go to the house next to it, and they're the old ladies doing the exact same fucking thing. She's got a room you can't go in, and nobody's going in there. So you might as well just throw that fucking room away. A lot of the dining rooms were like that. Dining room shit. They never actually used it.
Like they would use it like at Thanksgiving, and then that was it.
Yeah. Fucking use it at Thanksgiving. They should just have fucking plastic tables and set it out and have a fucking buffet.
I mean,
once a year. And then, you know, why are you spending your money on a damn dining room set that fucking you never really use, man? Turn that bitch into a fucking part of your garage. Make ammunition or place where you rebuild motors. You know, anything.
Put some video games in there. Yeah, anything.
Something that does something.
Put in a dance floor. I don't know.
Yeah. And in the biggest room in the house, the living room, nobody ever went into it. And it had that sterile, unlived feel. Yeah. Like it was a decoration.
That seemed like a very like old school, and I think the boomers were maybe the last one to do that.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like, well, because everything was like the front part of your house was supposed to be like for the outside, like people coming to visit you and stuff, like even if nobody ever came to visit you.
They never visited, yeah.
That's what I mean.
So,
but it was supposed to be for show, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like the back part
like
was
a
the part,
storefront.
right? Yeah, it was exactly like that. And then like the back part was like the part that's the part you actually lived in that no one was allowed to go back in there.
Yeah.
It's like, that's so fucking weird. I mean, well, it's your house.
Yeah.
Like, look, if somebody is coming over to visit us, which some, every now and then people do, but it's like, yeah, I'll clean the house.
Yeah.
But we don't have, like, shit in the house, like, just for other people to look at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We have guests, like fucking Sophie shows up. I'll just bring a fucking chair into the fucking bedroom. And me and Jen will be on the bed. She'll be sitting in a chair. We're all watching movies in the big old fucking
Yeah,
room.
it's like,
eating in the bedroom, because the bedroom is that's like our den.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I pretty much I eat in the office or in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I
Yeah.
never eat in the kitchen.
I
never eat in the
kitchen.
dining room.
I eat in the kitchen about half the time, because I'm down there working.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and
Right.
sit down and eat this while I'm watching TV, and then have to come back downstairs.
Yeah, it's
and
to like put it in the dishwasher.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like a chef's table. I got a little counter there. I'll just eat it at the counter.
Yeah, he's super funny too, because it's like usually he cooks.
She's working, so
because I'm working in my office,
yeah.
so he'll like yell if the food's done, and he'll just like leave it on the stairs.
Yeah,
like
she goes down halfway down the stairs and get the shit
stairs.
to go back up.
And then I'll come back up here and eat it, so I can keep working.
And I'm loading up dishes and shit. Fucking usually, I'm plating it out. So I'm plating mine out after hers, so I get her out of the way, and then I plate mine.
Getting me out of the way.
Yeah, get her out of the way. Well, she's like a customer.
I know.
Get her plate.
I'm
out
Tom's
of the way.
customer.
Yeah, and then I go to my shit. And I'm
gonna give you a Yelp review.
Mine might be a little bit different, because she doesn't like heavy spices that I like. I'll put fucking red pepper.
Well, I like them, but I can't eat them. Okay. Like it just, my digestive system can't take it, and it's gotten worse as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll really it's good, but I'll regret it like in an hour or two. So that's all it is. Yeah, Zach says, did your family also have the fancy gold china that no one could use besides holidays? And when anyone touched it, you guys screamed.
Yeah, stupid shit.
Yeah,
we never had that. Look, we never had that.
No, I don't have that.
That was our parents' shit. They're gonna get some china.
Yeah, we're Gen X. We're not boomers.
Yeah, we don't do that. Get some china. And
we thought that was silly back then.
Put it in the china cabinet so you could see it all, and it was off. Like people gave a shit. I was looking at it.
Everybody had that.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'd go into some people's houses sometimes, and I'd be looking at the shit. And they're like, look at all this shit laid out in presentation, like somebody's gonna come and inspect it or cares about what the plates look like.
It's like it'd be different if you had a fucking Rembrandt or something like that. Yeah, I'd be interested in looking at that.
Yeah,
but it's just like same dishes everyone else got for their wedding. I don't really. It's not really that exciting.
Yeah,
I do have some it's up there. Like I don't have it displayed or anything. I do kind of have it up there just out of the way so the cats don't knock it over. But I do have like some really pretty red glass that was my great grandma's, because I love red glass. I love any kind of colored glass, but red glass is like really nice. And so my mom gave it to me after my great grandmother died, because she knew I really liked that. But I actually kind of use it sometimes. Like it's like little like coffee cups, like teacups and stuff, little. So I use those sometimes, but they're like really pretty. But that's probably the only thing that I have really that I kind of display like that, other than all my toys. But it's not like people come in here, I'm just like, don't touch that, don't touch that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was kind of a thing back then. We're not allowed to touch the dishes. We're not allowed to touch the towels.
Yep.
We're not allowed to.
When my dad died, they started dividing stuff up. I got his truck, but that was as per will. His house went to his sister, because he got it from his mother, so she would be next in line for that.
Yeah.
I didn't even give a shit about the guns. All the guns went to his best friend.
Yeah.
And my cousin. But I didn't like the kind of guns he had. He was all bolt action guns and hunting type stuff. So that was no big deal. The only thing I cared about was that fucking cast iron fucking skillets. He had a set of cast iron. I got here.
That's so
Tom. My grandmother's fucking.
He's like, can I have the cast iron?
I want that cast iron. and my aunt was like, yeah, you can have anything out of this kitchen you want.
I don't think anybody else wanted it.
Fucked up though. I forgot to load up the damn butt cake fucking.
Ah.
The round mold for the angel cake. She had 2 of those.
Oh shit. Well,
and they were both cast iron.
You got most of it though.
I got that black cast iron, and that shit was from the 40s.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
And it's been cooked in. It's been cooked in for so long that it is absolutely non-stick, and it's about 7 pieces, 7 or 8. No, that's fucking. Let me see. It's 4 frying pans and 2 pots. With the lids.
Yeah.
And one of them's a deep fryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I've never seen anything like that. It's about 8 inches in diameter and about 10 inches deep. And it had an internal basket that went down into there. You could deep fry basically a whole chicken.
Yeah.
You could deep fry a whole chicken in it. And it's all from the 40s and the 50s. It was my grandmother's stuff. That shit, that cast iron is seasoned so well. It's like non-stick better than any Teflon.
I mean, that's like...
It takes forever for them to get that good.
But see, that's the cool thing about, like, that is, like, practical.
Yeah.
You can actually use that. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, the gold dishes and stuff.
Yeah.
Zach's saying, we've been lugging around these boxes of china my mom got from her mom since we moved, and we have no clue what to do with them.
Throw that shit
weighs
out.
half a ton.
Throw that shit out.
Well, why do you think so much of it ends up at, like, Goodwill and stuff like that? Because
out.
it's like, eventually someone's going to die or someone's just going to give it away, and it's not going to...
You can't sell it. No one buys it for what it's worth.
Well, there's a lot of it out
There's
there,
a lot of it out
too.
there. You throw it out. There was an artificial thinking that silverware and plates had a high resale value. No. If it's good silver, it's worth about the weight of silver.
Right.
But the plates, that shit's everywhere.
Yeah, like I said,
China,
they made a lot of those, so it's like not like a collector's item or anything.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like my grandmother. She had a shit ton of those fucking collector's plates that she bought off a television.
From the Franklin Mint.
From the Franklin Mint. She would swear to God that those things, they worth something. They're collectors.
Well, that's
Man,
what they told you
nothing.
on. That's what they told you on the infomercials.
That's what they told you on the infomercial. They even come with a certificate of authenticity.
Sure.
After she died, it was clearing the place out, helping my dad clear the place out. All that shit ended up on the fucking in the garbage can. It all ended up in the garbage.
I mean, like nobody wants it.
Yeah. Well, no, we were just like, this isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
You know, plates with fucking characters from Gone with the Wind and shit on it.
Like I said, they made a lot of those.
They made a lot of that shit. And
so it's not like it's even if you took it because you wanted to sell it, like no one would buy it.
And the only buyers for it used would be old ladies.
Yeah,
and they have that already.
Like I can't think of.
And they wouldn't pay much for it anyway,
unless someone was like ironically correct in collecting it. But it's like
a young person with money would never spend money on anything like that.
13KM Superfan says, I took a bunch of screenshot photos from your ManyVids videos and made those pictures into t-shirts that I sell at flea markets and adult bookstores.
Yeah, bullshit.
Hope that's okay.
Yeah, bullshit.
I mean, I don't really care, but I don't think you're really doing that, but I don't really care if you do that. Jason S. says, I still have my mom's ornaments. She died 15 years ago. Not sentimental to me, but hard to let go. Yeah, like, I kind of get it, but I don't know. I like to think, here's the thing. My maternal grandfather, I probably mentioned this before, was a hoarder. So, like, you know, just like on TV, the hoarders. And so when he died, and he died suddenly, he died of a like a brain aneurysm. My mom found him, actually. And he had actually hoarded his old house, and that eventually ended up having to get torn down, which sucked because I loved that house. It was beautiful. But, you know, when my grandma lived there and stuff, but, you know, he just filled it up with stuff. And it got torn down. A frat house was built on the property because of Embry-Riddle College in Daytona. So they had all their fraternity and sorority houses around that street. So that was torn down, and then he moved into another house over on the beach side. I think it was on Beach Street. And when he died, we went in there, and that was all hoarded too. And it had been so hoarded that the staircase had collapsed. So you actually couldn't get up to the second floor. There was like a couple of buckets and a ladder, like, to get up to the second floor. And when they had to clean it out, because obviously my sister and all her siblings had to clean it out because it was hoarded, they ended up filling out, I don't even remember how many dumpsters it was. It was a lot. And, like, I went there one day when they were, like, halfway done, and it still looked like a complete disaster area. And my mom was like, well, do you want anything from the house? I'm like, bro, even if I did, I couldn't find anything in here. Well, the thing about it, he hoarded computer stuff, which of course after a few years is worthless. Yeah. So he had a lot of that. He had a lot of camera stuff, which, you know, slightly less useless, but I don't know.
Also kind of
you know, he had like tons and tons of like jewelry because he was a jeweler for a long time, and like Guns. He had a lot of guns, but just like stuff. It was honestly, it was mostly just like electronics, like just boxes and boxes of like wires and cords and surge protectors and like stuff like that he just would never throw away. Oh, he hoarded cars and boats also, but he had to stop doing that. Like from the old house, he had a bunch of shit in the backyard, but like when he moved to the new place, he didn't have a backyard that was as big, so he had to get rid of those.
Somebody sent us all kind of money.
Thank you very much, Jeffy Art.
Jeffy Art? Okay, what's up, Jeffy?
You have every right to buy something if it gives you personal joy, not for seemingly supposed appreciation. I, for one, have a collection of Godzilla action figures and 25 pairs of cowboy boots. Yeah, that's the thing, and it's just kind of like, but...
Godzilla action figures will be worth more than plates, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Those will,
big time.
I got a bunch of damn die-cast metal fucking Japanese robot action figures. That they were hundreds a piece when I got them. They're still worth a lot of money because those fans aren't that old. They're still young enough to buy that kind of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you're dealing with collector's plates, you're dealing with women in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And by the time you inherit them, the fans of those plates are probably in their 80s.
I mean, if it's something cool that you like, because actually I had a friend that had some of the Wizard of Oz ones, and those were actually really nice, and she liked Wizard of Oz, so she had took them. So if it's something you like, then yeah, if you want to put them up and display them, just like any of my stuff that I have around here, but it's just kind of like, other than that, if it's just like something you don't have any interest in, I don't see why you would keep it.
It's like some of the comic books that I've heard about. They have comic books from like the 20s that they've been appraised like in the hundreds of thousands, if not, 300,000, 400,000. But you'll never get any buyers because the fans are dead. So what's the true worth? Nobody really knows. Whatever somebody's willing to pay for it, and they're not.
Yeah, that's
people aren't really willing to pay that.
It's only worth as much as someone's going to pay for it.
Yeah, and the thing is like some of these comic books, the heroes of the comic books are long forgotten. Their fans are all dead.
Right.
It's not Superman. It's other stuff. So there's no modern fans. So they have guys that have those in the comic book scene, but they don't sell them. They tend to trade them.
Yeah.
With other collectors. I'll give you 2 of these for that. That kind of shit. But no one ever really spends money for them. They just trade other books for them.
Got another super chat from Titanic Discussion. Thank you very much. Greetings, everyone. Tom mentioned Gone with the Wind before. Maybe you folks could review that classic sometimes. It still holds up. Thanks for the great channel. Thank you very much. I actually wouldn't mind doing that because I haven't seen it in a million years.
Last time I saw it, I was a little kid and I hated it.
Yeah, but you were a little kid.
Yeah, I thought when you were a little kid, I was like, man, this shit's boring.
Well, yeah, it's going to be boring for a little kid for sure. Phantom says David Hasselhoff and Pierce Brosnan are both 71.
Damn.
With that being said, a collaboration movie of Brosnan, Bond, and Knight Rider's Michael Knight would be awesome to see.
Damn.
Like a crossover of like Knight Rider and James Bond. I would probably watch that, not gonna lie. CB said a woman in her 60s left her belly rings to the fetish bar, and they're now on the wall behind the bar as art. See, that's more kind of what I would do. I know there's some old people out there that are like that. I just didn't want to be one of those old people that had the Franklin Mint plates and was like, these are going to be worth something someday.
It was a different generation.
And like, you don't touch the doilies, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be that.
A lot of that had to do with propaganda. People believing what they saw on television and absorbing that. Oh, well, yeah, it was on television, so it's worth something. They made a whole commercial about it. That thinking. And the thing is that never materialized. I'm sure there were a lot of ladies that bought those to collect them. But they didn't have internet, so there's no way they were talking to each other, trading them. I never heard of anybody having meets for the collector's plates.
Right.
So that means they were just buying them and hanging them up.
Well, that's probably what they were doing.
That's all they were doing.
And like I said, if they just bought them because they liked them...
Yeah, that's different.
Then that's cool.
Right.
But if they bought them because they thought it was going to be worth something, then they have another thing.
They bought them for both reasons. They bought them because they liked them, but then they justified it to themselves and to the husbands.
It's an investment.
These will be worth something someday, and my kids will inherit them, and they'll be able to buy a house. No, they can fucking throw that shit away.
It's like, yeah, they'll either throw it away, or you can maybe get a latte at Starbucks for what you get for this.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say, not to be cynical or anything. I'm just pragmatic.
It's like buying collector's coins.
That's all.
It's a 100% solid silver coin of Ronald Reagan. You know, back in those days.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, it'll be worth a shit ton. You know, it's not worth anything today. About what you paid for it. It's worth its weight in silver.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they made a fuck ton of them.
Made a fuck ton of them.
I was like, the shit that's worth anything is stuff that they made that they didn't think was going to be collectible that nobody kept.
Yeah.
Like toys from the 50s, 60s, 70s that mostly got broken and fucked up and everything like that. But if somebody has one that's like in mint condition, people will pay a lot for that.
Yeah, and coins don't mean much either. I thought old coins, like coins from the 1700s would be worth something. Not really. There's a lot of that out there. What's worth something is shit like Spanish doubloons that were sunken in shipwrecks. That's worth a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's worth gold and it's rare. Roman coins. And how often do you find a fucking ancient Roman coin? You know, that's worth something.
Yeah.
But that's thousands of years old.
That's what I mean. It's rarity.
Rarity, yeah.
So you have to think if they're making something and they're paying for an infomercial on TV about buying this, it's like it's not rare because they're selling thousands and thousands of these things to y'all suckers. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to be worth anything. Not going to be worth anything.
No buyers by the time you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Probably time for another drink, I would imagine.
Want to make it for you?
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
Go ahead and,
you could. You could. Use it as an ashtray. That's probably what I would do. Like I said, some of them were pretty, but I wouldn't, like, spend money on them or anything. I don't like them that much. I did like the Wizard of Oz ones that my friends had, but, you know, she hung them up because she liked them. She wasn't going to sell them or nothing. I don't know. I can't even remember. I remember the Gone with the Wind ones. And I'm trying to remember, like, man, they used to have so many different kinds of them. I'm trying to remember, like, what the other ones were. And now I can't remember. I feel like they maybe had Winnie the Pooh ones, but that's too cool. That was too cool for them to have, like, Winnie the Pooh ones. I don't remember what the other ones were. Tammy said, I actually own my Graham's good china. She bought it in the 30s when she first started working, and unlike her, we use it often. Yeah, it's just kind of like, if it's nice, and it's like, I understand you, like, not wanting to break it and stuff like that, but if you're not going to use it, it's just going to sit in a cabinet. It's like, what's the point of it? You can't enjoy it, you know? So, you might as well, like, enjoy it, I feel like. Yeah, Jason says you sit on Pawn Stars. I should probably watch that. We would probably make all kind of comments about it. Yeah, people bring old stuff in and it's worth shit, but collector thinks it's worth a fortune. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Are you talking about people bringing in old stuff?
On Pawn Stars, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably something I should watch. I've never seen Pawn Stars. I used to watch, what was the one that was on PBS? Antiques Roadshow. I used to watch that sometimes. But, like I said, it seemed like the stuff that was worth the most was stuff that was rare. You know what I mean? And even if it's old, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be worth a lot of money. If there was a lot of that stuff around and a lot of people have it, it's mostly like stuff that most people don't have. Joseph says, do you keep the books you review? That depends. Generally I do. I love books. I generally keep most of the books that I buy. Now lately, because, you know, I don't want to be a hoarder, I have a million books. Maybe not a million, but getting up there. So I have a lot of books. So that's why I recently, well, a couple of years back, I got a Kindle Unlimited subscription. So a lot of the books I review are ebooks. So I hate to say. Because I do actually like having the physical books, but I'm just like, I don't have room for all that shit. And it's like, if we ever had to move again, it already weighs like 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Like all the books that I have. So I do buy them every now and then. Like, because, you know, we'll go to Books A Million every now and then because it's by the Chinese buffet. And I'll just be like, ooh, I need to have that. Or, ooh, I need to have that. But
We haven't been to the Chinese buffet. We're going to go to the Chinese buffet tomorrow.
We should probably go tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, because like I said, I love books and I love the experience of like having a physical book. But I'm just like, practically, it's not, you know, I just really shouldn't buy anymore. I just don't really have room.
Yeah.
But I have kept all the ones I reviewed.
Forever.
That's what I mean. And it's just like, I'm like, you know, yeah, we're planning on being in this house for a while. But it's like, if we had to move for some reason.
If anything happened.
Right, I don't really want to
I
have
don't
to.
think anything would. But the house is appreciated in value.
Yeah, quite a bit already.
And
even though we've only been here two-ish years.
Yeah, well, I made money on it. If we sell it now at this rate, at this price, it'll get higher when the landscaping's done. Because curb appeal, we're increasing curb appeal.
Yeah, got a lot of landscaping stuff done.
Did the landscape up front. Now we're gonna do the left side of it. I got mulch and shit out there.
Painted the house from that terrible yellowy color.
And I got a damn guy who does it for a living, so he's showing me what plants to buy. He'll bring them, but then he says put it here, here, and here, and then I'll dig the hole and put it in, and I'll put the mulch. Save a lot of money. And I got a boy, 14-year-old boy, that's gonna help me.
He's got a boy.
I got a fucking boy. He lives up the street.
He's one of our neighbors' kids.
One of the neighbors, yeah. They got 10 kids. He's the oldest one.
Yeah.
He's 14.
And they're all like super well behaved. It's
They're
kind of creepy.
Yeah, they're little blonde kids. And they kind of march in fucking.
Yeah, it's a little village of the damned. They're nice though.
Yeah, their mom's cool though.
Yeah.
They run into the mom at the fucking store, and she's got all the kids. And they're like little soldiers. And the oldest one, he's nice. Yeah, he's real cool.
Yeah.
And he's got PayPal, so I can just fucking send him some money on PayPal. He's real friendly.
21st century.
I think they're religious. But that's fine. You know,
usually,
I think
if somebody has that many kids, that's what that means.
Yeah. But no, I didn't sense anything creepy or anything. He's just
people that aren't religious tend not to have
real upbeat.
kids.
He's real upbeat, real friendly. He lives 2 houses down. So when time comes for the landscape, and I'll call him, he said, yes, sir. Anytime you need me, I'll be right here.
He calls him sir and everything.
Yeah, call me, yes, sir. Anytime you need me, I'll be right here. And you know, and I said, I'll give you 12 an hour. He said, oh, that's fine. But I actually get pay him more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's young. You get that shit done in an hour. You know, so break him off $40 or something.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's good money for a kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much for the super chat, Zach. Said, watched a UK house restoration show once, and it was surreal to think most of those homes they showed were older than the founding of this country. Yeah, they got some old-ass houses over there. And, like, they just keep restoring them.
Where?
In the UK.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those houses are super, super old.
They got shit here that's older than the country, though. Here in Florida.
Well, yeah, that's
They got
true.
stuff from the 1500s in here.
Yeah.
Spanish stuff.
Yeah, if you go to St. Augustine.
Yeah. Then there was Indian stuff here. It's older than that.
Yeah.
Weird pyramids, earth pyramids. Nobody really knows.
Mounds and stuff.
Mounds, yeah. Nobody really knows what they're for. Tunnels.
Yeah, all kind of weird shit.
Yeah.
All kind of weird shit. Case and Lee asked, have you guys read The Hour of the Dragon by Robert E. Howard? I have not. I've read some of his other stuff, but I haven't read that. Tara asked, did you ever read The Secret History by Donna Tartt? That sounds real familiar. I might have. I have to go back through my Goodreads.
Is that another super chat?
It is.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Thank you again, Zach.
Zach. Yeah,
And so on this show, you have people who are like, oh, yes, can you put the glass and steel spiral stairs next to the dining room with the 1300s paneling? I know, right? It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. But like I said, they really do. It's not like they have like a huge amount of room to like put new shit up. Although they do. I mean, it's not as small a country as like people think, but they do have a lot of room. But they kind of, unless the shit's falling apart, they just like restore it. Because everything over there is just like made of stone and brick. And it's solid. So if you pull out all the bullshit inside, you could like totally redo the thing, and it's. And the thing about the UK too is that they don't have real extreme weather. So it's not like, it's not like Florida where it's like, well, we built a house, but it got blown away in a fucking tornado. You know what I mean?
What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
What's up, Kevin?
Did you answer Tara?
Where? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go through the thing.
Talking about Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Okay.
Man, I haven't eaten Ben and Jerry's in a long time.
It's not as good as Publix ice cream.
All ice cream is good ice cream.
Yeah, it's good ice cream, but it's not as good as Publix.
I don't remember last time. What was... I can't remember the last one I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tammy's talking about Ben and Jerry's fish food. Yeah, I remember that one. Brownie batter ice cream. Yeah, I remember that being pretty good. We actually bought dollar store
Yeah.
cookies and cream ice cream.
They can't call it ice cream. they have to call it frozen dessert.
It's like a dairy product. Or
Yeah.
Like not even is it dairy?
No, see what it is that here in the United States to legally call something ice cream, it has to be made out of at least a certain percentage of cream.
Yeah. Well, rightly so.
Yeah, and this isn't made out of cream. It's made out of milk. All right. But then what they do is they fatten the milk. They make it fatter with vegetable oil.
Yeah.
To give a creamy texture to it.
It's like the cheap shit.
It's very effective. It tastes good. It
is pretty good still.
It tastes like pretty good
for the
ice
price
cream.
that you pay.
It feels like ice cream. It's got a little bit of stretch to it. The only downside of it is that it's a lot higher in calorie.
Yeah.
That's the only downside. But it's cheap. You get a big old tub of that shit for fucking $4.50. Four flavors.
We get the Neapolitan.
You got vanilla, chocolate, Neapolitan, or cookies and cream. That's all they carry at Dollar Store.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Dollar General Store. Yeah.
Well, it's better than having to drive all the way to Publix.
Yeah.
Drive all the way to Publix. It's like a mile away, if that.
You get a whole bucket. I think, is it a gallon or is it 2 gallons? It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big, huge thing. Yeah, because like last night,
I think it might be a gallon.
I didn't even know because sometimes Tom goes to the dollar store and gets ice cream and I forget about it because we keep it in the freezer out in the garage.
Yeah.
And then last night I was kind of like, we hadn't eaten much that day. I'm like, bitch, we got any ice cream? He's like, yeah, we got ice cream.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, go get me some.
Yeah.
I didn't think we had any
We
more.
mostly eat the Neapolitan.
Yeah, we usually get the Neapolitan just
Yeah.
because it's like three flavors in one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What's funny because when I was a kid, every now like my grandma, my parents and stuff like that, they would usually get Neapolitan too because they're like, well, look, it's got something for everybody. And so I would always get mad because I didn't like strawberry ice cream. So I'm just like, what? So that's like leaving me out of like a whole third of this box. That's bullshit. So I always just got the chocolate and the vanilla.
Yeah.
But honestly, like the older I've gotten more chill about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I'll just eat strawberry ice cream now. It's fine. But I don't really like fruity ice cream.
It's insane.
I'll eat it, but it's not my favorite. Like it's not my first pick. Now the one exception to that is that both Indian restaurants we go to have mango ice cream. One of them regular ice cream and one of them soft serve. That shit is delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious. And it doesn't taste like mango. I think that's probably why I like it.
It tastes more like vanilla.
Because I don't really like
It
mangoes.
tastes more like vanilla to me.
Mangoes taste like perfume to me.
Yeah.
I have that thing. Well, you know how some people say like cilantro tastes like soap?
Yeah.
To me, mangoes taste like
Perfume. Yeah.
Like it tastes like drinking perfume.
Yeah. I actually prefer sherbet to ice cream. I like ice cream, but I actually prefer sherbet. And at Publix, they have a line of sherbet. Their store ice cream, called Publix ice cream, and they got their own creamery. They make fucking their shit is better than name brand ice cream. Publix ice cream is name brand ice cream.
All of Publix's store brand shit,
badass.
I have never had anything bad from their store brands.
They're not. Publix isn't buying that ice cream. They make it themselves. They have their own creamery making it. And they got some fucking great flavors, and it's about the same price as a store a fucking designer brand, but the quality's fucking.
It's
super
much
good.
better than a lot of I think it's better than Breyers for sure.
It might be better than Bluebell, and I love Bluebell.
Yeah, Bluebell's good though.
And Bluebell's real close though in terms of quality. It's real close to that. But Publix has some weird sherbets that I like. They got a raspberry sherbet. Shit's fucking fire, man.
Which I'm not a fan.
They got a lemon lime sherbet or a lime sherbet. Then they had like different kinds of like multiple flavors. One of them is like tropical sherbet that has tropical flavors in it. One of them being coconut. Man, that's so fucking good, man.
I would eat the shit out of some coconut ice cream.
Yeah, it was coconut sherbet.
Because I love
coconut sherbet
I'll
with
eat
some other
coconut
stuff
anything.
in there. I forgot what it was. It was like coconut with pineapple and I think there was lime in it.
See, now that sounds
It's
good.
fucking great, man.
That sounds good.
And then they have one that's like 3 or 4. It's like a berry sherbet, and it's like 3 or 4 different berries, like raspberry, strawberry, and something else. The sherbet's fucking when it's done right. It's fucking.
See, I'm
delicious.
more like I said. Now, when you said the coconut or the pineapple, like a pina colada kind of thing, I would eat the shit out of that. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
But Normally, if I'm gonna pick ice cream, it's gonna be mint chocolate chip,
Yeah.
or it's gonna be coffee with chocolate chips
Yeah.
in it, or it's gonna be butter pecan. It's gonna be something that's like kind of rich and also has like chunks in it, like chunks of chocolate or chunks of nuts or something.
Publix has all that.
Yeah.
They also had one that was kind of like a peanut butter cup ice cream.
Oh, that was
That
good.
was really good, yeah.
That was real good. I don't think the ice cream I think was maybe vanilla. Was it vanilla or was it peanut butter?
I think it was peanut butter.
It might have been peanut butter flavored.
I think it was peanut butter with chocolate.
And then it had chocolate like
Pieces of
chunks of
chocolate,
like pieces of like miniature.
Real good.
Yeah, that was really good. Honestly, probably my favorite. I don't know. Probably my favorite flavor of all time is peppermint stick. They only sell that at Christmas, though. I don't think you can get that all year round. But at Christmas, I always get it because I love fucking peppermint stick on ice cream.
Phantom mentions black cherry ice cream. Yeah.
Now, see, I like black cherry. I would eat that. Like I said, fruity ice cream flavors, it's not my go-to, but I like black cherry anything. Like black cherry soda, anything like that. I like that kind of stuff.
CB said in England there they have a tax on sugar. I remember that the British taxed tea here in the United States, and we overthrew the British government.
I mean, not just because of that.
That started it.
We threw all your shit in the harbor.
Threw all your shit. That started it.
Right into Boston Harbor.
Yeah. A bunch of dudes dressed up like Indians. White dudes, they were culturally appropriating. They fucking dressed up like Indians and went down there and fucking threw all the tea in the harbor.
Fuck all y'all.
Fuck all y'all. We're wild Indians. People thought it was funny.
Americans, man.
But they got pissed.
Why did we get all blurry? The more we drink, the blurrier we get. What happened? Okay.
It's nothing happened. Well, this is delayed slightly.
I know, but like the
came
camera
back.
is. I know, but that's very strange.
There's the stream. Was the stream good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just the camera just went blurry.
Yeah, because you waved your hand in front of it, baby.
I don't know. I usually do that all the time, and it doesn't do anything. See.
Okay.
We had we were at the other Chinese buffet, the cheap Chinese horror as we call her.
I started that.
Well, because I think I've told the story before, but usually we'd go to Ichiban.
She did exactly what I was talking about.
Usually we go to Ichiban, which is it's farther away.
Yeah.
But we found one that was closer and cheaper. Like it wasn't as good, and they didn't have as much food. Like it wasn't as big.
Yeah, and the clientele is fucking all old people.
And it's all old people. Holy crap! Yeah. Like I don't care about that, but but everybody's very slow. So it's just kind of like you're trying to get food, and the dude is taking like 20 minutes to like.
And everybody's unhealthy.
Very slowly, and I'm just like.
Can't walk.
Oh my god.
Dude can't walk. He's fucking fat as fuck. One leg is the size of a fucking 55.
Yeah, he's got like gout or some shit. Yeah, so it's like that.
And they're not that much older than us.
No, they're probably younger than we are.
Some of them probably are, but we're just like.
But we found it, and it's like significantly cheaper. So sometimes if we don't feel like driving all the way to Ichiban, we're like, well, that one's good enough. It's the food's good enough. You know what I mean? So the first time, I think we went there one time, and I was just kind of like, man, it's all right. It's a good fallback if we don't feel like driving to Ichiban. It's not as good.
You can get for about $10.
But yeah, it's not that cheap. But I mean,
$11, I think a person.
I think on weekdays, I think it's $12.99.
Okay.
Or $13.99. Whereas Ichiban, I think is more
about
like $15.99, $16.99, and is like more on weekends. But they have like a much bigger selection.
Yeah, and it moves faster. It's better.
Yeah, but cool. I mean, it's good both places. So it's like it's funny because we went there.
The best is Koi Wan, but that's far.
But that's really far.
Yeah.
That's like a drive. So that's like a special occasion type of we're driving like fucking 30 miles.
It's Chinese Disneyland.
It is.
It's
massive. I don't know how they stayed open during the pandemic. But yeah, so we had been there one time, and I'm just like, that's okay. It's a good option. Like we don't feel like driving that far. And then one day I was working, and like Tom was out on his motorcycle or something, and he texted me. I think this was when I was still working in Daytona.
Yeah.
And you texted me and said, "I'm with the cheap Chinese horror."
No, you
or something.
You sent me a message, and I replied.
Oh, okay.
And I said, "I'm with that cheap. I'm cheating on you with that cheap Chinese whore."
And I knew immediately.
She knew exactly what I was talking about.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
I knew immediately when he was talking about.
Yeah.
And I just and I was at work, and I just like busted out laughing. And I was like, I knew exactly what he meant. And I was like, oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But we have been going there like sometimes if we don't feel like driving all that way.
Yeah.
But it's all right. It's all right.
It's got a better selection of ice cream.
But well, I don't know about that because that's where I was leading up to is like they have this ice cream. I always get mint chocolate chip or butter pecan. Okay, I'm not fucking around. Tom gets this one, and it's berry adjacent. It looks like the color of it because he got it, and I was just like, what flavor is that? I was like, is that raspberry? I said, it looks like it should be raspberry, like the color that is. And he asked the lady that works there, one of the ladies that works there, she loves us, and she comes over, but her English is not that good, and she has like a really thick accent. So it's like she has a hard time like pronouncing like certain words. Yeah. And so we asked...
R is one thing that they can't.
Yeah, and so we asked her like what flavor it was. Yeah. And she said, but we couldn't understand her.
She said
and then,
it 3 times. I was like, what?
And then we felt like assholes for like asking her to like repeat it.
I think she was trying to say raspberry.
See, I thought it was raspberry.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's raspberry. It could be. I thought at first, I don't know, because at Koi Wan they have red bean sometimes, not always. Yeah. So I thought maybe it was that, but I was like, well, the color of it kind of looks like a raspberry flavor.
Yeah, I think she was saying raspberry.
Maybe.
Raspberry.
Like I said, I'm deaf as shit too, so I couldn't like really. I was just like, what? And then I felt like a jerk, like for just asking her to repeat it, and I'm just like, you know what? Never mind.
What kind of berry is it? But I fucked with her. She was walking by one time. I was getting food. She walked by, and she was putting big old wad of cash in her fucking apron. And I held my hand out like that, and she reached in there. And Matt pretended
she was
going to
bunch
of money,
like give him the money,
and I went like it was heavy. And
she's
shit.
Awesome. I like her.
She laughed. She laughed when I did that. It's like, oh.
And she rolled right with it. It only took like a second. Like she understood what you were doing. She was just like, okay, here you go. Yeah. It was like super funny. Yeah, she's really nice. I like her. Tom was like giving her this whole spiel about me writing about serial killers.
Yeah, she didn't understand what we were talking about.
I don't think she knew like
she didn't
why
know what
she's like
was, or she didn't know what a true
she's
crime
like,
show was.
Why would anybody want to like read about that or something? I'm not really sure. Like
it didn't culturally.
Yeah, I guess not.
Didn't culturally. She did. She's like, oh, she didn't. Right, you were doing shows about crime, and they were like, oh, no, you know, just.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a whole.
I lived in Korea. All right, and fucking for about a year when I was in the service, and a lot of things don't culturally connect with Western culture and Eastern culture. Although Korea is probably closer to Western culture than say Japan.
That's what I've heard,
and a lot more than say certain areas of China. And one of the things is like humor, Western humor, American humor doesn't work at all in Eastern cultures. If you were to translate what they're talking about, you, as an American, you wouldn't like say you could watch like a Japanese comedy show. If they were to translate it, put subtitles, you wouldn't think it was funny. Like it would be nothing. A Japanese girl would be laughing her ass off. You wouldn't know what she was laughing at. If you told some Japanese or Korean girl a dirty joke in English, she wouldn't get it. She wouldn't even know what you were talking about. I've seen it over and over again because I've seen experiments where they'll tell a dirty joke, but it doesn't work in Korean or Japanese because there are no curse words in those languages. That's how conformist it is. So that humor doesn't translate.
I couldn't talk without cursing.
So no sex jokes, really. No jokes that would have cursing in them. There's no cursing in Korean. They don't have that concept.
Like no crying in baseball. No cursing in Korean.
There's no cursing in it as we would know. When I was in the army, they used to dudes would be cursing like crazy, and our Katusas, who were like Korean army augmentations of the U.S. Army, Katusa. And they were like our translators. They were Korean soldiers that could speak English and Korean, of course. And you'd fucking say some wild ass fucking crazy, and they didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Because they don't even have curse words. It's like, imagine their humor is at the level of, like, say, the humor in a movie from the 1920s. Extremely clean. Corny as fuck. Okay, that's their humor. If you come up with curse words and sex jokes, like, yeah, if you told them a joke that had anything to do with sex, they wouldn't get it. I watched a video of some Korean girls listening to that video Anaconda. What was that rapper chick's name that did that?
What are you talking about?
I mentioned her before. She's actually kind of cool. She wears fucking cool clothes, big boobs, blonde.
Who, Queen Latifah?
No, it's recent. She's a rapper girl. Not Little Kim.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, some Korean girls were listening to it.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
Thank you, Phantom.
They were walking.
I was like, what era are we in? What are you talking about?
They were watching. They were testing them. These two Korean girls. They made them watch the music video Anaconda, and they were just embarrassed as shit, you know. And then they asked them. Then they showed them the lyrics of certain parts and asked them what those lyrics meant. Like, my anaconda don't want none unless you got buns on. That was the lift. They couldn't. They didn't know what it has to do with. You know, it's a song about the wild and wildlife and animals. They did not understand the sexual innuendo. And then when they told them, no, the anaconda is a big snake you pull out of your pants. And it took them a few seconds to get that.
They're like, wait, dudes in the West have big snakes in their pants?
Guys have snakes in their pants? They go, no, it's a big cock. And they were, okay. All right, yeah. It's that doesn't even fucking think. They don't think that way, you know. I mean, it's real clean humor, you know. Fucking.
Oh my god, I can't imagine.
Yeah, so.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. And
honestly, well, and the weird thing about it is, like, sometimes I will be perusing some area of the internet, and I will come across some phrase that I have not heard before, but I will immediately know what that phrase means. Yeah. Even though I've never heard it before.
Yeah. The Koreans and the Japanese and the Chinese don't have slang as Westerners know it, so it doesn't work.
That's a shame. I love slang.
They don't have.
It's fascinating.
They don't have, what do you call it? Analogy or metaphor.
Where you're like not where you're referring to something else.
Something else in the form of something. They don't have that. So that Nicki Minaj song, Anaconda, that is to them totally indecipherable. And they don't know how those lyrics match to all that sexual imagery of those girls with their fucking asses and the big titty. They don't understand it. So what they did was they compiled it and actually translated and explained everything to them. And it took them a while. And then they saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, now we see it, but they don't think in that direction. They're okay. And then they were like, oh, that's dirty. They allow that, you know. That's they allow that, you know.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
You're fine. You can't get STD from a video, as far as we know.
No, what was funny is that. All right, look. In that same video, they had a dude from mainland China who was in his late 50s. And I could just see on the look of his face, he's like, man, these chicks are hot as fuck. And he explained it. He kind of understood it a lot faster.
Yeah, they're going to, well.
He understood it a lot faster. And they said, what do you think of that video? Should videos be that way? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, they should all be
like that. Yeah, they should all be like that. And he starts basking in it. He goes, yeah, they all should be like that.
Yeah, can we have more of those?
Yeah.
Thank you. We would like to have more of them.
So an older dude understood it, but younger women didn't.
That's so cute. Jeff Yard says, damn, any Asian place below $20 is a great deal in my book. Every sushi buffet in South Florida is $35 plus per person, at least on the weekend. Holy crap. Yeah, like, I've never been to any Asian buffet that was more than... I mean, it's more on weekends because they give you more. But I think the most expensive one we went to, even Koi Wan, I think is only $15.99 a person, $16.99 a person, something like that. And the cheap Chinese whore that we that's what we call her because she's cheaper. Even like if you go on weekdays, I think it's only $12.99 a person, maybe $13.99. And then like I think on weekends it's maybe $15.99. They don't have as much to choose from, but it's still like it's all decent. And their peanut chicken is actually like better than than the other place. Actually, the other place doesn't usually have peanut chicken. Now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, they have some slightly different things, but it's like it's acceptable. You know what I mean? Acceptable. And the Indian buffet we go to, which usually only has, I'm trying to think, maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen dishes, and it changes every time. They have similar stuff, but you know, they change things up. It's pretty small. I think that is, I'm trying to think, $14.99 a person, $15.99 a person, something like that. I mean, when both of us go, it usually ends up being like, with tip, it usually ends up being like what, $46?
To where?
Like the Indian place or the Chinese place. We never pay more than $50 for both of us, like with tip.
Yeah. 40 something, like 42.
Yeah, it's usually like 40-ish, like $45. Yeah.
I heard in some states, man, McDonald's is now fucking outrageous. Just a Big Mac meal in some of these states is now like 20 something bucks for a Big Mac.
I don't even know how much a Big Mac meal is here.
Here it's normal.
I think they're 11. I think they're like 11.
11-ish. Yeah. But in some states
12.
they're like close to 20 now. So nobody's going. That shit ain't gonna work, man. McDonald's and fast foods was successful because it was cheap, not because it was good.
Yeah, well,
cheap.
I mean, I think that's kind of why Taco Bell was doing a little bit better because they still have. Well, and the thing about McDonald's too is they still have the cheap menu. It's just the meals are getting expensive.
But up north they're even more expensive.
I mean, you can't have it both ways. Like, are you going to be
expensive or cheap?
I think they're trying to they're trying to appeal to both markets. They're trying to be like, well, we want like, you know, the food and we want to make money and stuff like that, but we want like low income people to come here too, so we have a $1 menu.
Yeah, but they don't want low income people to come.
Well, no, nobody.
That
nobody
$1
does.
menu, they don't make any money on it. What they're doing is they're hoping that you'll buy a drink. And that drink, they might make 50 cents on that.
Well, yeah, that's a high profit margin item.
So that's all it is. I think a lot of the $1 menu stuff is that's sold at cost. My prediction with the jam that McDonald's is in right now is that they'll close many locations in expensive areas. They can't afford to run those. And the expensive areas right now are high crime areas. That's why the fucking price went up. And the traffic has gone down there too. You know?
I just heard that the Red Lobster in Leesburg, which is close to us, just closed.
Which one was that? One we went to?
We haven't been to that one.
Okay.
We've been to the one in Altamont.
Well, Red Lobster's on its last legs, my understanding. Right?
That's kind of a bummer. I always kind of like, I mean, for a chain restaurant, like, I was like, well, I like seafood. And
we'll go to the Trough.
And Red Lobster was like the only one that was kind of like seafood adjacent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have like a bunch of local.
Yeah, local shit, yeah.
Yeah, we usually go to the Trough. We went to the Trough a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like much on the inside.
It looks like a biker hangout.
It looks like a biker hangout. Like it's a huge bar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly the bar.
Yeah.
And most people come in and sit at the bar, and there's all these TVs, and they're usually blaring like classic rock or whatever.
It's all southern.
It looks like a dump, but the food in there is good.
It's all southern seafood, and the good stuff is by the pound type of deal. What at market price?
Yeah, they'll bring you like a big bucket.
Yeah, you know, and then they have buckets and shit. Like
they have specials on the buckets.
Right, and then they'll have like whatever is on special. You know, you're buying it. Didn't they say it was by market price and pound? And all kinds of weird by the ounce.
I usually just get like sandwiches though.
Yeah,
like a.
They have
like
good.
A fish sandwich.
They have good. I get the platter. The thing is that seafood platter, man, I can't finish it because everything's deep fried.
Yeah.
I get like 3/4 of the way through it, and I'm like, man, I can't eat all this shit. All this
Which
bread.
is crazy because you can eat a lot. I could eat maybe a third of that, and then I'd be like, yeah, I got a barf.
And then I said, remind me not to get that deep fried platter.
Yeah, I don't
next
get
time
that.
I go. I'm like,
I got it one time. I never made that mistake again.
Yeah. It's about $25, but you can't eat it.
You can't eat it all.
And comes with hush puppies and French fries.
Yeah, every single thing on it is deep fried.
And fried deep fried clams, deep fried fucking fish, deep fried fucking shrimp.
Hush puppies.
Which
are also deep fried.
I think it came with scallops too, didn't it?
I think it did.
Yeah. Had everything.
Last time we went a couple weeks back, and I usually just get they have a hoagie with like fresh fish on it, but I don't get it deep fried. I get it broiled. And then you get French fries on the side, and that's plenty. That's about all I can eat. Like, I don't like. The other day, like a couple weeks back, it was his mom's birthday.
What kind of po' boy was it?
It was just like was it grouper? I don't remember what kind of fish it was. It was some kind of fish, but I just got a
fish sandwich.
Yeah,
that sounds
but
good.
I just got it broiled. I don't get the fried fish because I can't eat that much fried food at once.
When you said po' boy, I was thinking about shrimp po' boy.
Yeah.
Or deep fried oyster po' boy. A po' boy is our version of a sub. That's a southern version of a sub.
But
a submarine sandwich.
Yeah. But like I said, I love deep fried food, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I can't eat that much of it in one sitting or I'm going to have a bad time. So that's the thing. And here's the thing, like it was his mom's birthday a couple of weeks back. And we took her to Longhorn because she wanted
she likes steak.
She wanted some steaks.
And she didn't even get a big steak. I said, get the big steak. Get the Longhorn.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
She can't eat it all.
I told, like, we've been to Longhorn before.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of getting the 9-ounce filet and a loaded baked potato. And I also got, like, either super salad before, and that was way too much fucking food. I could not eat all of that. So now every time we go, I get the 6-ounce, and then I just get a plain baked potato, which is, like, butter on it. And no salad, no soup, no nothing like that. And that's about right. I learned my lesson. I want to eat all that, but my body says no.
Yeah. Tara said that
we're gonna throw that right back
up. Red
up.
Lobsters are closing.
Yeah, I heard that. We were watching a company man about it. It is, yeah.
Thing is you can get shrimp scampi. I almost said scrimp. That's Mississippi as fuck. Scrimp scampi.
Scrimp scampi.
Scrimp scampi.
You sure you're not just drunk?
Scrimp. No, scrimp. Louisiana, they say scrimp too. But we can get that at the Chinese restaurant. They got great shrimp there.
Well, honestly,
boiled shrimp and fucking scampi, and they have all that shit. They have good pizza. I was like, how am I going to get pizza at a Chinese
Ichiban does.
Yeah, Ichiban. And I fucking got a slice and put it on my plate and tasted and that shit was good. It didn't taste like pizza.
It doesn't taste like
pizza. It tastes like a dinner roll with cheese on it and garlic.
With cheese and sauce.
Cheese and garlic, a little bit of sauce. I was like,
it's good though.
Pretty fucking good.
I was like, that's strangely good.
It was like real airy.
As long as you don't expect it to be pizza.
Yeah. They had it out there for the kids.
Right. Yeah, because I
get a slice every time I go. I was like, that shit's good. It's kind of like a dinner roll.
So funny. Well, I laughed at him the first time because,
it's a gag.
Well, yeah, like it's back there on the thing where it's like, well, we know your kids are picky and they won't eat anything that's like Chinese, like even though most of it's not Chinese. So it's like we got chicken nuggets and French fries and pizza and shit like that back there. Man. And it's like Tom was like brought a little slice of pizza. I'm like, you really got a slice of the pizza? And he's just like, yeah, they just brought it. I wanted to see if it was any good because he saw the dude bringing it out, and he's like, what? That's actually really good. I think they steam it actually.
Yeah, it's like garlic bread.
It's like I said, as long as you're not expecting it to taste like pizza, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty good. But I don't think I've ever had
one of them things up. And it's fresh. And it's a fresh.
He's gonna He's gonna go right over
yeah. What'd be good on it is some of that ranch dressing.
Oh, are you Midwestern all of a sudden?
Yeah, it'd be like Midwest. You put ranch dressing because it's not real pizza, so you might as well put fucking ranch dressing on it.
Do they even have ranch dressing in there?
Yeah, they got all the dressings. The problem is that that's cheap dressing. That's the shit that comes out of those fucking gallon cartons.
Yeah, well.
You know what I mean? You can tell it's kind of like oily. It's not real sour cream and not real cream. See, the basis of a cream dressing, people, it's about a 50-50 mixture. The base is 50% sour cream and 50% cream. You mix that together and you have a cream base. Then you can add cheese and spices to it, like blue cheese and shit. That's basically what it is. But that's expensive. Shit that comes out of a bottle, it's like substitutes for cream and sour cream. Probably like oil with some kind of hydrogenated fucking Crisco.
I mean,
partially hydrogenated fucking vegetable
hey man,
oil.
If they can have a cheaper way to do something, then they're gonna do it. I don't care what it is.
And it doesn't require refrigeration. It's shelf stable for a lot longer.
That too. That's also a money saver.
Right.
Well, the thing about it, we've gone to that buffet so many times that it's like, and I've tried pretty much everything on there, but it's like I have my go-tos that I know is going to be good because, like I said, I can't. It's all you can eat, but I can't eat that much.
Yeah, I made a mistake though. It's not 50% sour cream and cream. It's about 50-50 sour cream and mayo, and then some cream. It's more mayo than cream. But yeah, I just wanted to correct myself and say, because I know I got some cooks out there like, what's he talking about? No. Sour cream and mayo. Mix it 50-50. That's the base for any salad dressing. That's cream based.
Okay.
Yeah, salt, pepper.
Glad you corrected.
Throw cheese in there, like blue cheese, and then you got blue cheese dressing.
I mean, but I pretty much always... The first thing I do is I go and get salad stuff because I'm like, well, I'm going to get some vegetables. So I get spinach and tomatoes and pickles and shit like that. And then I eat that. And then I'll eat like a bunch of cold boiled shrimp with some cocktail sauce and some lemon on it. And that's the first plate. And then the second plate, I usually just get a little tiny bit of... I'll get some broiled fish. I'll get maybe some more shrimp if they have like a cooked thing. Sometimes like that chicken thing on the skewer. Egg foo young, I usually get that. Mushrooms, chicken, and broccoli. And then that's about it. And then I can't eat anymore. So like I said, all you can eat buffets are kind of... I kind of admire people that can just eat and eat and eat. Yeah. That's a good deal for them. For me, not so much. I feel like I can only eat like a plate, maybe 2 plates, and then that's pushing it. You know? Mm. I start feeling like...
Desert says because here in California... The minimum wage is now $20 an hour. So that's increasing fucking labor costs. And you know what'll happen? When you have a powerful, rich and powerful corporation like McDonald's, and they have an awesome credit line, they're going to do one of 2 things. They can close those locations and move to other states where they don't have to where they don't need those overheads. Or they'll replace those employees with robots. Which that's a possibility too. Although I think they'll probably just close those locations.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about McDonald's,
fast food is fucking a certain segment. You know what I'm talking about? It's supposed to be cheap and fast. They're not going to pay a lot of labor for those workers. It's just not going to happen. If you have to pay them a lot of workers, now all of a sudden the overheads are higher. So you can't sell cheap food. So that means, why would you make a Big Mac? Get a steak. Sell that. You'll make profit on that.
I mean, McDonald's could keep the prices the same because they made like record profits last year.
They don't care about that.
But they don't care about that.
They don't care about that.
They just want all the money.
Yep. Yeah.
They're not hurting. Trust me.
No. Those corporations are armies, basically. Or they're governments to themselves.
I gotta pee.
It's like dealing with a government or a nation. It's not their fucking job to have a location to feed people. That's not what they're there for. They're not a charity. They're there to make high profits, to make profit. So what makes sense for the corporation is like, okay, California now wants $20 an hour. Well, fuck California. We'll close our California locations and we'll save money. All right? Then we'll use our credit because the investors will see us do that too. Okay? And the investor confidence will go up because they'll know that we're ruthless. Because you can't survive in business unless you're kind of ruthless. It's the law of the jungle. So they say, well, then we'll take the money that we saved and our money in our credit line and we'll open up new locations in lower income places where we can keep prices lower and we'll go serve those people. Which that's really, when you think about it, that's the way it should be. If you're in a high income area, why the fuck are you selling McDonald's? If they have that kind of money, then what you're going to do is you're going to sell steak, or something that's a higher end item. Fast food evolved in the United States, in the 50s. A lot of it, some of it 20s, but mostly 50s. And it was for speed and low price to lower income people. So really all it is a fucking vending machine that has a few people in it working. I'm trying to think of the oldest fast food. I think it might have been White Castle. And the White Castle hamburger was the original hamburger, not McDonald's. And if you ever been to White Castle, it's similar to Crystal. It's nothing but just a dinner roll with a little bitty meat cracker on it and some pickles and sauteed onions. That's it. And those things were fucking, I think they were like a couple cents a piece. When I was a kid, if you walked into a White Castle with fucking $5, you come out of there with like, I think 10 hamburgers. I think they were 50 cents a piece.
I think they were, yeah.
50 cents. You get 10 hamburgers. And you couldn't eat them all.
We didn't have White Castle, but we had Crystal, which is almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same thing. I just went out, when I came out of the bathroom and I went down the hall to make a drink.
Yeah.
Pookie is laying in the hall on her back.
Yeah.
In gummy bear position. Is she still doing it? Oh, okay. And then she just like, you look at her and she just looks at you like, what? Laying on her back with her little paws up like that. We don't call her gummy bear for nothing. She looks like a little gummy bear. All right. Phantom says, I just got on VHS the 1984 film Scream for Help, which is pretty good. It's like an after-school special film meets Nancy Drew, Last House on the Left. Wow, that's a interesting combo. Free on YouTube. I might have to watch that. I'm going to write that down so I remember, because otherwise I won't remember. I don't think I've seen that. Like, it sounds slightly familiar, but I'll have to watch it again and see if I've ever seen it. Because I watched so much of those back in the days. It's 80s as fuck. Ooh, yeah. Phantom says, I wish Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurants would make a comeback. I kind of remember. I don't think I ever ate at one. I kind of remember those being around, but I don't think I ever ate at one. I'm trying to remember, like, restaurants that aren't around anymore. Remember Bennigan's?
Sounds familiar.
My brother used to work at Bennigan's back in the like 90s.
Yeah, Bennigan's. That's.
I don't think
that was.
It's kind of like a fake Irish pub, kind of thing. Yeah, my brother used to work there.
That was a flash in the pan company, wasn't it? We're just
well, no, they were around for a while, but yeah. I'm always surprised because it's like some. I was watching a Company Man the other day about.
What's up with this?
What?
Do we still have connection?
Oh shit. I guess maybe that's just you.
Maybe that's just me. Because it says the.
I mean, it says we're still going.
Okay.
I'm still going.
Yeah, somebody drop in the comment section if you can still hear us. I lost my connection.
Well, now I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. Drop something in the comment section if you can hear us, people. It says the connection's good.
I mean, it's still going.
It's still green.
It hasn't stopped.
What does it say? Somebody says something.
Yeah, everything okay here, says Tammy. Okay.
Yeah, it's just my side.
Just
Look at
you.
that. See, it's not loading.
Yeah, your shit's fucked up.
Wonder why.
I don't know. Must be
I'm
you.
gonna close out YouTube's and then go back in.
Something you did, Tom.
Yeah, I did it. It's my personality did it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll happen. I tease you because like every time something happens, like he always blames me about it, even though there's no way that I could have done it.
It's like a tradition we have.
I know.
I'll blame the cat too.
Well, yeah, you did it, Pookie.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What? I didn't do anything." Yeah. Okay. CB said, "Have I ever seen Species 1 and 2? I've seen the first one. Yeah. I've been wanting to review that for a long time, but I don't think I've ever seen the second one. If I did, I don't remember.
We've been asked that a couple times recently.
Yeah, we should probably do it one of these days.
Why is Species interesting?
I don't know. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
You know. Hi, Pookie. We were just talking about you being in gummy bear mode when I came out the bathroom. Yeah.
What you doing, Pookie?
She's like stalking around.
What's that?
She's probably gonna go tear the books up.
Okay, yeah. See, it's working. I don't know why.
Yeah, High Desert remembers Bennigan's. I think I only ate there a couple of times, but I just remember it mostly because my brother worked there. My brother worked at McDonald's too. And the fact that he would still eat at McDonald's, I was like, okay, well, I guess it's okay for me to work at McDonald's. He works at Animal Kingdom now, the Disney park. He just put up a whole bunch of photos today that he took there. He's like, he went there as a guest, like rather, because he usually is he's an employee, obviously. So he's like, so I just went there like as a guest, and he's like, and I was still telling kids to get off of shit and everything like that because he's so used to working there. But he took like a bunch of, he's a photographer, so he took like a bunch of pictures and they came out really cool. He had like all these really cool pictures of like the gorillas and the birds and stuff like that. But yeah, if you've never seen the channel, company man that's on YouTube. Like, he talks a lot about different companies. And honestly, like, the restaurant ones are always the most interesting to me. Like, I don't really give a shit about banks or financial companies or any crap like that. But I'm, like, always interested in, like, the restaurant stuff. And it's weird because some of the restaurants that he talks about, like, some of them I've heard of, but, like, we don't have any around here because it's, you know, just out west or whatever. But it's like sometimes he talks about ones that we have, and it's like they've been around, like, way fucking longer than I imagined. Like, some have been around since, like, the early 20th century, and I didn't even know because I only just heard about it recently. And let's see. Jeffy Hart said, I honestly think large fast food franchises will replace humans with robots. Their goals are consumers, not employees.
Yeah.
I see that in Miami, the McD's next door to my school cut 3/4 of their staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went, they just built down the street from us where the Publix is. In the parking lot, they built a Dunkin' Donuts. And the other day, because we were like, man, we need to go on that Dunkin' Donuts, because it's been open for like a month or two at this point. And we're like, we were down there the other day doing some shit, and I was like, man, we should go in there and check it out. So we went in there, and everything, you can't even really, you're not supposed to just go up to the counter and order shit. You're supposed to either order shit on the app and go pick it up, or go in there and use the
What are you talking
kiosk, Dunkin' Donuts.
about? Okay, yeah.
You go in there and use it, which I like better. I know it, like, takes people's jobs and stuff, but it's just kind of like, it's
they still have people
easier.
working there.
Yeah, there's people working there, obviously, because they have to get all
They don't
your
want to
shit.
do that regular bullshit. They don't want to.
Yeah, like, and I don't blame them. I mean, there's no reason to nowadays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just go in there, you go up to the kiosk. We were getting a dozen donuts just mixed. So you just go in there and pick however many of each one you want, and then you pay, and then, like, you just sit and wait, and the dude puts them all in a box,
Yeah,
and you
it's
just
funny.
take them.
We were at the dollar store one time, and I was, Jen was with me, and I was checking out of the self-checkout. And some dude, who was probably only my age, a little bit older than me, freaked out. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what's wrong with the world today. Y'all let me... Remember that shit?
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, and I'm like, me and Jen are looking at him, and I'm thinking, I'm like, I think I'm going to beat this guy's ass. He backed out of it, though, because I was looking like, I think I'm going to beat this guy's ass. There's nothing to this guy. This is the dollar store.
I think I would like to beat.
He started to go, I don't even mean, you know, he tried to back out of that shit.
Why? I don't understand.
And I'm like, fuck
know.
it. And then we know the people that work there.
Yeah, because
they hate running the checkout, because they actually, what they have to do is stock shelves.
Yeah.
So they want to spend time stocking shelves.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main part of the job.
Yeah,
really.
they're doing extra shit to do the checkout. And one time, we went to the Dollar General stores up the fucking road to get something. Me and Jen were in there, and there was a line of 10 people trying to check out. They didn't know how to use the self-checkout.
My mind was blown.
They don't know how to use the self-checkout.
I'm like, how long have we had self-checkouts?
Yeah.
Would you guys get with the program?
We don't know how to do that. Yeah.
Ooh.
These old rednecks. They were afraid to use. They didn't know how to use that.
Well, I have to say that the one right next to our house, you can't use the self-checkout anymore.
Yeah, they put shit on there.
They just put shit on it and said, well, you can't use it anymore.
Yeah, and I asked why, and they said people were stealing.
That figures around here.
People were stealing.
All them rednecks, man.
Yeah.
But I just kind of figured, yeah, like we went in another, not the one that's right by our house, but we went in another one.
Yeah.
That was like on the way to or from wherever we were going. And yeah, there was this massive line, and we're sitting there going, why is this massive? Like the self-checkout was open.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are you guys not? And they're just like, oh, we're not using that. And we're like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to go use it.
And
then.
some of them were using cash. I don't think they even had ATM cards.
We're like looking at them like, what fucking
shit.
century is this? Oh my God.
Yeah,
We've gone back in time.
Yeah, they're like back in fucking 95.
We've gone back in time.
Not even 95, like 89.
Like, not to be an asshole, but geez. Come on.
Yeah, but that dude, he was fucking, he was appalled by technology. That's what's wrong with the world today. All this technology I don't understand. That technology I can't grasp.
I was like, could it be that you're just dumb? Sir?
Yeah. Well, he thinks that you have to invent jobs for people to have jobs. So that's not the way the market has ever worked.
I mean, things always change.
Yeah, there
always.
are no. The jobs that were around in the 1800s are gone. You don't have barrel makers anymore.
Right.
That was a whole industry, the whole job. You're making fucking barrels. They don't have that anymore. Okay. Nothing is the same, and it's always going to change. And one of the things that's going to go is a checkout. You're going to have guys watching the place. But
Yeah, they have to have people
you just throw the
monitoring.
products in this little damn scanner, and it fucking scans and gives you a total of everything that you put in there.
Yeah, at Circle K, our drunk asses in there, like we get sandwiches and stuff after the
throw it
club.
up there on
You
the
just
counter.
throw it on the thing and it
Throw
senses
on
it.
the-
There's still somebody working there that like
Yeah.
to make sure everything's working, but
Yeah. He doesn't want to sit back there and fucking calculate fucking change.
you know, they don't even have to do that.
Yeah, it does
anymore.
all that.
But like I said, it's just I don't have a problem with it because like I
Yeah.
said, there's other jobs doing other things. Things have always changed. You just have
Yeah.
to like fucking deal with it, man. I'm
Yep.
sorry. It's like I never wanted to be one of those old people that's gonna be like, well, it wasn't like this in my day. Well, it's not your day anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that day.
It's constantly changing.
Let's move on.
When I was going through high school, man, we were doing things that were telling us a lot of the fucking dudes. I went to a good high school in Brazil, also one in Michigan. But in Brazil, the dudes were, it was called Escola Graduada de São Paulo. It was a international high school in English and IB, International Baccalaureate. Had kids from all over the world in there. Their parents were all either government people, like diplomats, the high end of the Brazilian people, like the children of the presidents and shit. I was friends with the guy who would have been the king of Brazil. Luis, I didn't know the dude was going to be the king. I was sitting there fucking with him. He wasn't the king, though. Just if they were still a monarchy, he would have been the king. And then Japanese girls were in there because their dads all worked for Toyota. And I forgot what I was going to fucking say about it, though. I'm fucking drunk.
That's what happened.
What was I talking about?
I don't know.
No, what was the premise?
Well, the lead up was self checkouts.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what it was. All the fucking smart guys were saying, dude, we're going to have to learn all these computer languages because the future's fucking computer programming, writing code. So what fucking language were they learning? COBOL, BASIC. It's a couple of the other ones, which was, they were obsolete by the time we fucking graduated.
I remember learning that in elementary
Yeah, they were
school.
obsolete by the time we graduated.
At least basic.
Right. And then I remember when fucking home computers first started to fucking emerge. Ones where for about $700 you could have a decent fucking home computer like a Gateway or something. Which is kind of like an off-brand.
With those fucking boxes with the cow.
With the cow shit
print on it.
Yeah. And it had stuff in there like Excel and word processors and shit that they could have never imagined fucking 4 or 5 years before. They couldn't educate you for the future when I was a kid. They didn't know it was coming. And it's still like that now.
Well, like
You go
I
to school
said,
now, man, there's nothing they can teach you that's going to be worth anything. They should just teach you how to read, write, do simple math. Fucking advanced shit. They got some guys that are fucking, like, I was terrible at fucking geometry and algebra.
I was really good at
But they got people that are really good into that. Really, and that's all you need. And then how to operate a fucking tablet, cell phone.
which
fucking
everybody
that's-
knows from birth
Everybody
nowadays.
knows from birth now. So what do these schools actually do? For the average person, they don't do anything. It's just
Well, I think it's good to have just like a good rounded,
Yeah.
all-around education of like the culture at large and history and stuff like that. That's always good to have.
yeah. I think you can do that on a computer.
But well, yeah, that's
can
the
do it on a
thing.
phone now.
That's the thing. It's just kind of like
I think school's an
the
obsolete
way
product.
shit is going. And honestly, like I said, I don't feel one way or the other about it. I don't have any dog in that fight. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, however shit goes, that's how it's gonna go. It doesn't have anything to do with me. It doesn't have anything to do with. I'm not gonna get upset about it. Like, I don't understand why. No, I know why they do. Like, I know why old people get upset. Like, I'm old too. Okay, I'm not being shitty, but I'm just saying I understand why old people get upset about self checkouts, and even though self checkouts have been around for how many fucking decades now? A long time. So they get upset about it. Oh, it's the end of the world or whatever. It's like old people are always like that.
No, you're not.
Old people are always like that because you get to a certain age, I guess, and you get like super rigid, and it's like everything has to be the way it was when you were growing up, and any change is like the end of the fucking world, I guess. And
Every
then,
generation thought that.
and then you get mad because it's like you can't keep up anymore, and so it just seems like the world is leaving you behind and blah de blah. And I get why that's upsetting, but it's happened to everybody. Please just understand that will happen to you as well. And chill the fuck out.
Here's a real good analogy. People thought it was the end of the world that horses were being replaced by bicycles.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Because the bicycle was a replacement for the horse.
Yeah.
You didn't have to feed a bicycle.
Right.
And a bicycle could fucking...
It didn't need all this room.
Yeah,
it didn't
need to have a stall. You didn't even really have to train it.
You could just lean it against the wall.
You didn't have to feed it. Okay? And then around the time the bicycle, then real rapidly, used airplanes and cars. And they thought that, well, shit, no one will have any jobs when you don't have horses and coach makers and all these leather workers.
Says the same.
Who's going to, all these people are going to be out of work, not tanning, because nobody's tanning leather anymore. Nah, that's not what happened. What happened was the automobile industry and the aviation industry fucking made a person who normally would have been tanning leather, made him a fucking shit ton richer on a damn assembly line for a while. But there were whole areas of the country like fucking Detroit and in Michigan where they were built on that car industry. But that went on for generations before that shit disappeared. People don't make cars anymore. Robots make cars.
I mean, they still need people to monitor.
They're still
robots.
in there, but it's not the same fucking. When you look at the size of the damn workforce, it's tiny compared to what it used to be. You don't need that many people.
But there's still jobs. They're just different. It's just in a different area.
Well, like I said, people making the robots and making parts. And
you just have to adapt. That's always been the case.
Yeah.
It's no different than any generation before you. So it's just the crying about it. That's just.
Well, the older it gets, the more sophisticated and complicated the society gets. So jobs appeared that those fuckers working on those cars could have never imagined. Like me and Jen, making a few dollars here and then on the side, making porn online. They didn't fucking think that. Nobody ever thought that anything like that would ever exist.
Well, shit, some bitches make millions of dollars on fucking TikTok.
Yeah.
Just being influencers.
Right. An influencer.
Which that wasn't even a thing. That wasn't a thing.
Right. So nobody predicts things. The dudes that make all the money are riding the wave. They ride the wave, the cutting edge. They have information that really average people don't have because their friends are actually building things. And, well, I know that he's going to have that shit done. And, so the real rich people like Zuckerbergs and all these other guys, they never really make that many mistakes because they have so many friends and they know what that friend's building. And they're like, look, if I do this business, there'll be an opportunity to do this.
Yeah, it's not foolproof, but they're usually already rich, so they can absorb some losses.
They avoid a lot of shit, right? But still, for the average person, if you're on your shit, you can make money that schools that your teachers in schools would have never imagined. What we do now, that old high school I graduated from in fucking '87 couldn't imagine the shit that me and Jen do from this fucking room. They never even imagined fucking wireless internet with fucking social media and YouTube. They had no fucking concept of that.
Well, like I said, other than this, my whole income comes from doing graphic design entirely remotely. Mm-hmm. I have meetings with people online, just over Google Meet or whatever. People email me shit.
She actually works in California. One of her jobs.
Yeah, one of my big clients is in California.
She's doing fucking online.
So I have a couple meetings with them a week.
Online meeting, that's some shit out of Demolition Man. Remember when they showed fucking...
And now everybody does that.
Everybody does that.
Like I said, you just have to kind of... I feel because I've been, for some reason, the last few weeks, I've been super obsessed with... Prior to this, I was on the Reddit, the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? And I was I would read that while I was eating lunch or whatever. And then I slowly went over to Boomers Being Fools. And that one is super fun. Yeah. It's super fun. And some of the stories in there. And like I said, maybe some of the stories are made up. I doubt it, though, because I know some boomers that have done some shit like some of the stories that are in there. And, it's pretty funny. So, and we've seen it ourselves. Like I said, this dude that came in and he was getting all butthurt about the self-checkout. The thing about it is that a lot of older people like that, I don't understand, and this is not everybody obviously, but that generation seems to like think that everybody needs to hear their opinion, which I do not understand at all. Like they're just out in public, and something will, get like it'll put a wild hair across their ass or something like that in some manner or form, and then they feel the need to announce it to the world at large, where it's like, can you just not? Like it's just not. Who cares what you want or what you think? I don't really get that.
The only thing I really noticed about that generation is the feeling of fucking extremely self-centered, to where if something happens, then they interpret that as a direct attack against them.
Yeah, and a lot of people on that subreddit have pointed that out. They said they're very narcissistic. They're very not all of them, obviously, but it is very prevalent, so much that a lot of people have noticed it. They think that the world has to cater to their whims.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, they get very, very upset.
It had something to do with growing up in the 60s.
Like I saw some shit the other day where this woman was like, I was in Costco or some shit like that, and this old woman comes up and starts touching my kid.
Yeah.
And she's like, can you not touch my kid? And she gets all butthurt, like the woman's being rude.
Yeah. Right. And
keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Yeah,
what the hell?
I hear Gen Z and shit talk about people me and Gen's age and calling us boomers. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Me and Gen are Gen X. Our parents were boomers. The boomers.
We don't like it either.
Yeah, we were like, what? They were not.
We
all
were the
boomers
first ones that had to deal with that shit. They're not all like that.
They're not
obviously.
all like that, but there was tendencies in that.
Yeah.
Very, very self-centered. It was like a me generation.
Yeah, they think the whole world has to like cater to them.
And the worst of them are now in charge of the United States. They're 70s and 80s. Some of them are in their 90s, and fucking they only care about themselves. There's no altruism in them. Or if there was any altruism in them, they never would have made it to that high up, especially in like government and corporations and shit. It is all about them. And no matter what they do, it's the right way. You should obey them. There's not really much reasoning with them.
Well, and like if you tell them like to not do, and a lot of people have pointed that out.
More about emotion than anything else.
Yeah, a lot of people have pointed out that particular mindset is like if it feels right, it is right.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or not, which it's usually not. But so how something made them feel, like, do I feel correct? Then I am correct.
Yeah, and preachy about what
that too. Like they get up and people, because there was like a million fucking things on there where people are like they're just minding their own fucking beeswax.
Yeah.
And like some old person comes up and like starts telling them some shit about it. It's like, who the fuck are you? Like, why?
Yeah.
Piss off. Who the fuck would ever do that? Who would do that?
They talk about freedom and individuality, but they actually have no concept of individual freedom. Their version of individual freedom is that you must conform to them. And
I would never in a million years go up to a complete random fucking stranger
and start critiquing
things. Like, why? Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't even understand. Like, why would you even do that?
It came from a safer environment.
Jesus Christ.
It also came from a safer time.
But it doesn't even have anything to do with safety. I would just never do that because it's none of my fucking business. I don't know that person.
A lot of that happens in a lot of countries. They say Germans are like that. Japanese are like that.
So weird.
It just depends on.
Mind your own fucking business.
Yeah.
I hate that. Well, like I said, I'm Gen X and I'm also very, very introverted. Yeah. So I really don't like obnoxious. I don't really like this obnoxious because for a while, like when I was working like in the corporate world, if you want to call it that, but they have this like weird, like forced extroversion, and it's just kind of like you have to always be involved. Like if you don't want to talk to people like on your lunch break or something like that, like if you just want to go be quiet and read a book or something, they think that's weird and they're always like up in your face. And
I think it's because
God, I used to hate
generation.
Like fuck off! I'm just trying to.
I think that generation grew up with the old psychologists of the time, like Dr. Spock and shit, in child psychology, where you have to force people to interact with one another.
God, I hate that. If
not, they'll be wallflowers. But they're not coming from a time of social media where people are bombarded with social interaction. They actually want to try to block it out.
Yeah, I don't like.
Because we're the Borg now. Basically, if you all grew up with fucking Star Trek, we're the Borg now. Remember when they put that Borg kid, and when they cut him off from his online connection to the fucking Borg, he's going crazy because he can't he's not part of the collective anymore, and he can't hear what other people are saying. That's the same as taking a cell phone from a kid nowadays. Same thing. You're removing him from the Borg. Well, I'm kind of like that too. I like to have a fucking device so I can see what everybody else is doing, what's going on.
See, I don't.
All my channels, you know what I mean? Fucking, cause I'm seeing what the other YouTube
I'm like
creators
that.
are saying.
I'm like the opposite.
Yeah, no, I want to see what everybody's doing.
It's too much. It's too overwhelming. But like
Eventually
I said,
it's going to be in your head, and that's what the Borg was. The Borg were interconnected into their mind through implants, to where you don't have a cell phone anymore, but you can now do the same thing a cell phone does, or probably even better, with an implant in your mind. Instead of a screen, you see it in your mind, and you see it better than you see any screen. You could probably go into a virtual reality where you're not playing a video game anymore. You're now in a damn 3D virtual room or something. You know, they'll eventually have that too.
Camp Guy says, I'm a late date boomer, born early 1960s.
Yeah.
They're called something else after about 63 or 64. Generation Jones, that's what they call them.
Yeah.
That's boomers that don't want to be boomers. They're like, we're not like them, just please.
I was born in 69.
Tom is 69. I'm 72, which is solidly Gen X.
No, she's not 72. She's 51. But you were born in 72.
I was born in 72. That's what you know what I meant. Don't you correct me.
I was born in 69.
But yeah, so the thing about it is that, I mean, not only am I Gen X, so I don't like that, like the older generation kind of got on my nerves, but I'm also like really introverted, so this whole like forced, like, look, I enjoy being alone, I enjoy just like reading a book and having peace and quiet and shit like that. And the fact that so many people, like, shit, man, like a lot of places I used to work, I'd go in the break room at a time when I knew other people weren't going to fucking be in there, because they would blare the TV and all that kind of annoying ass shit. And like, so I'd go in there and be like, good, I got my lunch, I got my book, I can just sit in here and chill out. And then somebody comes in, it's like, oh, you're in here all by yourself, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, yeah, well, I was having a good time until your stupid ass
Yeah, I
shit
wanted to say that was another thing that I noticed about
God damn it. They have to be talking all the fucking
are
time.
about constant talking.
God, what is that about? Shut the fuck up.
If they're not talking, then they feel like something's wrong.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah,
I hate that.
And they just go, well, it's just small talk.
Yeah, I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to listen to you prattle on.
It's called conversation. They didn't have social media. So everything was face game, but constant keeping each other occupied with a bunch of babble. Doesn't really mean anything.
That makes me so sad, because to me, it seems like that's a person that doesn't have any inner life.
Yeah.
Because they constantly have to be projecting outward. It's just like, and I can't relate to people like that.
There was a study that came out that said that a minority of people have an inner dialogue, and most people don't have an inner dialogue.
Yeah, no
their
shit.
Thinking is
I've
just,
noticed.
Their thinking is just images, mental images. My thinking is inner conversations.
Yeah, mine too.
Usually it's conversations between two or three different versions of me.
Mine
Some
too.
people have one version that's having a conversation with you. It's just that's how. But other people don't have that. It's just images. The new term that they're talking, that they actually apply to the people that don't have an inner dialogue, is NPC, non-player character.
Yeah.
So I think, and they said that more than half of the people on the planet would be psychologically defined as NPC.
And they probably see other people like that too.
They think other people are NPCs.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
So the NPC is a person, but their consciousness is different than a person that has inner dialogue. And when they've done tests, they've said when they try to describe to an NPC a person with inner dialogue, they can't even imagine that you're hearing voices in your head that are you. They're like, well, then that means you're crazy. But the people with high awareness have inner dialogue.
I mean, I'm willing to submit that I'm probably crazy.
There's no such thing as crazy.
I'm still functional, though.
Yeah. No, you're not crazy.
To a large extent.
There's not. Crazy is not a scientific term.
No, I know it's not. I'm just using it as a blanket term.
But I don't know everything about it. I got to go back and find out more about the NPC phenomenon. But I think that NPCs don't quite have the same version of consciousness. that non-NPCs have. So they have different requirements.
I don't. Is
It's not wrong, right or wrong, or anything like that, or better than this. It probably has something to do with evolutionary psychology. Certain people have evolved to have that thinking style. It's probably genetic.
One thing I have seen brought up a lot on the Boomer subreddit is the thing known as main character syndrome, which I think a lot of people have. Yeah. Not so much NPC, but they think they're the only person that they think everyone else is NPCs.
Yeah, but I think your average NPC actually has that phenomenon.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it's kind of more that kind of thing where it's like they're not so much NPCs. They don't see themselves that way.
They don't see themselves.
They see themselves as like I'm the star of this movie, and everyone else is just like supporting characters,
supporting cast. Yeah,
and that's why they treat other people like that, because they don't see other people as. So there's equal to them.
So their social skills,
which is crazy to me. I don't understand.
Their social skills are very superficial, and kind of. We know people like this. They're superficial, and the women tend to come off with like what seems to be things like histrionic personality disorders, things like that. You probably explain that a little bit. I'll go to the restroom. Histrionic personality disorder. The woman thinks that all dudes are after her for sexual reasons. They think a lot of different things. They want to be the center of attention. The social butterfly. Why isn't that running?
What? What are you talking about?
Our fucking thing. Okay, that's changing.
It was on.
Hand me that control.
Okay. You want to make me another?
The shrine isn't working.
It was fine. I don't know why you.
What do you? Look at it.
Well, that's because you just changed it. That's not the right remote.
This wasn't on all day.
That's not the right remote. That's the remote.
No. You sure that's the remote? That's the remote for the...
For both of them.
For both of them?
Yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
No. This one is just for the effects back here.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look. Why isn't this on?
What? Oh, that. Well,
that,
probably the plug came out.
Okay.
That's what usually happens. Pookie might have chewed on it. I don't know. All right. Where was I? Phantom is asking about the 1983 Charles Bronson film 10 to Midnight. Do you think it's good or bad? I remember really liking it. Actually, I've been wanting to review it because I think it was on Amazon Prime. But we haven't got around to watching it yet. But we probably will get around to watching it. I remember liking it very much, like when I saw it back in the day. I don't think Tom has seen it, though.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's really good. I thought it was really good.
Okay, so that's that one.
Ira says, I found out that I prefer to be alone, which was reinforced when lockdowns happened. I'll only talk if I have to. Yeah, I feel that. But I will be rude when I have to. We'll let them know their presents aren't welcome. Yeah, it took me a long time because... I'm a very introverted person, but I'm also was raised as like a people pleaser, which is not great. So it took me a long time, like until I got old, that I would actually like be rude to people. Like normally I would be too nice to people, and that's not always what you want to do. Like, yeah, you don't want to like escalate a situation that doesn't need to be escalated, but if somebody is like fucking walking all over you, yeah, you need to like fucking shut that shit down. So I think I've gotten better about that, but it's hard to do because I'm not really like that. So yeah, but honestly, I'm not bothered. Like I didn't really understand, like during all the lockdowns and stuff when people were like, oh my God, I'm going crazy without other human interaction. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is awesome. Like, it's like, I don't have to talk to anybody. It's amazing. And it's just kind of like, shit, my introverted ass, when I was growing up, you know, you had to like actually call people on the phone, and I fucking hated that. I hate talking to people on the phone. I still do. So when email was invented, I was like, oh my God, it's a fucking godsend. And now that you can do everything online, there's self-checkout, stuff like that. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. The fewer people I have to interact with, the better. Because I don't like people, mostly. I like some people. I like a select few people. But generally, I don't. And it's like, and I don't know. It's just very stressful for me to have to interact with people, especially people that are just tiresome like that. It's just, I can't, you know, small talk and shit like that. I just don't do it. I don't do it. It's just, it wears me out. I just can't. Yeah, Tara says, I need quiet time for hours, but someone's always talking normally when I'm reading a book. Oh my god, I used to hate that so much. And I was reading a thing on the Boomer subreddit the other day where someone was like, they would take their lunch break and they would go out to this park and there was nobody out there and they'd go out there and read a book and like eat their lunch and shit like that and they were having a great time. And then all of a sudden, Boomers coming out there like, hey, don't you have any friends? We're going to sit with you. And I was like, oh my god, it's like my worst fucking nightmare. But they do shit like that. I'm just like, leave me the fuck alone. And then, like, if you tell them to leave, then they, oh, you're so rude, this generation, blah, blah, blah. Like, they get like that. I'm like, fuck off. Like, I don't understand why they don't understand that. Like, I'm sitting here reading a book, obviously. Like, why is that hard? Like, y'all don't read or... I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I would never in a million years. Never in a million years. People do it on public transportation, too. Like, you'd be sitting there reading a book or you got, like, headphones on and shit like that. People come up and just, like... fucking talk like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? What are you reading? Well, I was reading something, but now I can't read because you're fucking yapping in my fucking face. Jesus Christ, I hate that. A lot of people do it though. I don't understand. I don't understand that mindset at all. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Yeah. Yeah, 10 to Midnight is about a serial killer with Charles Bronson in it. Yeah, Jeff Yard said, as an introvert, I've always enjoyed my own company. Yeah, I mean, I can honestly... Like, I like hanging out with Tom, obviously, but it's just kind of like...
We don't talk all the time.
No, it's like, shit, I could, like, hang out for hours just doing my own stuff, and it's like, I don't even think about it. Yeah. I don't got to be talking to people. Matter of fact, I don't really like talking.
Shit going on. Where's it? Make you another drink?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, here you go.
I don't really like having to talk to people. Unless, like, if I'm out at the club, and I've had a few drinks... and someone's talking about something I'm really into, like horror movies or something like that. Shit, I'll talk your ear off. But if I have to stand there with someone I don't know that well, and it's like make small talk, yeah, that's not happening. I'm just going to stand there and stare off into space because that's how I do. I can't think of anything to talk about unless we have like a lot in common and I know you really well. You know what I mean? It's going to be that. Yeah, Carlos said, as a fellow introvert, I loved lockdown. I kind of did too. I mean, I worked from home by then anyway, so it wasn't really that much different, but I was like, wow, it's so awesome, like everyone having to stay 6 feet away from me. That is fucking rad. I loved that so much. Because, I was just like, hey, back off, COVID. That was awesome. Camco said I once got panhandled inside a grocery store. I mean... Joseph says, do you play games by yourself? What, me or him? He was playing Fallout today because I heard it. I was working all day. So I don't usually. I don't have much time to play games, honestly, because I'm usually working, or if I'm not working, we're out and about doing stuff. But I'll watch horror movies sometimes by myself, like ones to review and stuff. But that's it, It's like if there's nothing else going on, because like I said, I do a lot of freelance work. So I always kind of have to be ready for that, because a lot of that comes up whenever, like during the week. So I always have Slack open, I always have all my email open and everything like that. So whenever somebody sends me something, I have to do it. But, if I have like a spare couple hours, I'll just throw a movie on Shudder or something like that and like sit there and watch it, and then I'll do a review of it. But I don't play video games. He does though. Like I said, he was playing Fallout earlier. Yeah, Tara said like they don't see that you're reading a book and you write in your hand. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. And I know it's funny because I think that's why I find that subreddit so funny, because it's just like I've known a lot of people like that, and I've had a lot of this kind of shit happen to me from like that generation and stuff. And it's just kind of like you can't just hang out and you can't just like be by yourself and like go read a book. They're going to get all up in your shit and think something's the matter with you. And it's like, you need a friend, and they're going to come sit there. And if you tell them to fuck off, they just like...
They're from Vault Tech, man.
God, what the fuck? And like at first you try to be polite. It's like, nah, it's okay. I'm just like reading a book and stuff. And then like they just persist and they won't leave and stuff like that. And then finally you got to get rude because obviously they're not listening. And so you're just like, look, just fuck off. I'm just trying to read. And then, why are you so rude? Because you wouldn't fucking leave. That's why. Like, I was trying to be nice, but obviously that wasn't working out. It was a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I've had that happen a lot. Because as someone that likes to just kind of sit and read quietly, like on my lunch hours and stuff like that, you would be amazed how many people will just come up and start yapping at you when you're trying to read. It's mind-blowing. I do not understand. I do not understand. They just think everyone has to pay attention to them.
Well, it's
24/7, I guess.
No, it has to do with their formative years without social media. They got their social media from fucking talking to other people, and other people were interactions with other people were premium, high value for them. That's how they met people. That's how they hooked up. That's where their entertainment came from. But the younger generations had other distractions. They don't. Especially if they live in a place that has high population density. They're trying to shut people out. If you go in Boston, New York, and places that are fucking cities that are packed, you know. If you spent all your day talking to people all the time, you never get anything done because it's people fucking everywhere.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So it was older generations in lesser population densities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're from smaller towns, yeah, they talk.
Because they don't have anything better to do, yeah. I guess.
Yeah. Although you also have some people out there that don't want to talk. So, you know, it depends on.
Like me, yeah. I do not want to talk. Do not talk to me. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Especially if it's some fucking stranger. It's just kind of. And okay. So I used to work in like a print shop for several years, and you would not. Again, you probably would believe it, but it's just like the old people that would come in there and get like some copies or some shit like that, and then they will stand there forever and they will tell you their opinion about just about everything, like their stupid uninformed opinion,
as if you care
about right. And it's just like, this is the highlight of this dude's day, like this crotchety old fart like coming in here talking to somebody, and I was like, look, can you just pay for your shit and get out? It's like, I have other things to do. You know what I mean? I can't just stand here and like entertain you for 5 fucking hours. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't understand.
Okay.
Go back home and listen to Rush Limbaugh or whatever the fuck you're doing.
Okay, so let's not take the show down such a negative path.
Joseph says, did you design the board games on your Scare Salon website? If it's the ones that you're talking about, like on my regular website, I have a link to several board games. If you're talking about ones like, what are they called? I have one called Red Death. I have one called Green Hour, stuff like that. All the board games that are on there, like, I did design those. Yeah, like if they're back there, there's a pile of some of them back there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I design board games for fun.
This is one, right?
I don't.
Did you do that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is actually based on Mary Shelley, Percy Shelley, Lord Byron. You know, that whole haunted summer of 1816. Like, yeah.
Yeah, all her games are beautiful.
Well, like I said, if I could do one thing, I would just do these. If I could make all the money, like just making these, I would just make these.
Yeah.
Because it's everything that I do, like all wrapped up in one thing.
Yeah.
Because you get to write a story, you get to do like design shit, you get to like lay it all out.
Everything's all sealed up in there, though. This isn't one. Does this one have a board? Or is it just cards?
It does, but like, see,
yeah,
it's folded up.
Okay.
That's the board. Yeah, this one has a board. They don't all, but this one does. The ones with the bigger boxes generally do have boards. But yeah, that's that board there. Whoops. You go around, and do that. And then card deck. They're still in the plastic. Got Mary Shelley on there.
What is that? Play pieces?
Yeah, they're these are cards.
Cards, okay.
Yeah, it's basically a card game, but there's a board aspect also. There's dice in there too.
Yeah, there's dice in here and instructions.
That's my instruction booklet.
Yeah.
Has like the story behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love doing these. Telling the whole story. Lord Byron, Percy Shelley, John Polidori.
She did all the graphics, everything.
Mary Shelley, yeah. Like I said, I make them for me. I'm working on one right now. It's almost done. I don't know when I'm gonna get it put up, but it's almost done. I'm doing one now that's like a late 19th century, early 20th century seance spiritualist vibe to it, and it's kind of like it's like a medium thing where you like guess about people's it's called Dear Departed. So it's kind of like a medium thing, but yeah, I'm almost done with that. Almost done. Phantom says, I'd rather stay cerebral than have to chit-chat it up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I have a hard time. Like I said, if you want to talk about some fucked up shit, you want to talk about horror movies or like smut
that's not
or something like that. I like small talk though. I can't do.
Yeah, they're talking about things that don't mean anything.
Right, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the less I want to do it because it seems like a waste of time.
They're talking to fill time.
Yeah, and like I said, that's not entertaining to me.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, if I want to be entertained, I'll go watch a movie or read a book or something. I don't really want to talk to somebody that I don't have anything in common with.
Yeah.
Not to be
it's just
jackhole. I'm just, just saying. I have limited time left. I don't want to waste a lot of time talking about bullshit with somebody.
Talking about weather, or talking about how fucking tomatoes grow or some shit like that,
Yeah, I don't really have time for that nonsense.
Or where they went on vacation 5 years ago.
Yeah, and then like I said, they get all up your ass about how rude you're being, but sorry, I got other things I gotta do. Camp Guy said I interviewed a guy for a job once. At the end of the interview, he said, "When are you gonna know if you can hire me? Because I need every penny I can get my hands on." I would have hired that guy, to be honest, because at least, like I said, at least he's being honest. That was another thing I always hated. And I'm kind of glad it hasn't completely gone by the wayside, obviously, but the whole job interview thing, God, I was so bad at that. I didn't usually have problems getting jobs, strangely, but the whole thing about, we're going to interview you and you have to say this, that, and the other thing, and we know that you're probably bullshitting, but we're all just going to pretend that it's not bullshit. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we all know that the answers that you give at job interviews, that's not what you really think, obviously. You're like, I need this fucking job because I need some fucking money. You know what I mean? It's like, all this bullshit they expect you to say, it's like, it doesn't mean anything. But everyone's expected to say it, but everyone knows it's bullshit. And that just always, I hated that. I always hated that. Tara said you mentioned Mary Shelley, my favorite author. Yeah, and honestly, I've always been so fascinated by the whole creative process of her coming up with Frankenstein. The fact that she was fucking 18 when she wrote that. 18 years old. And we're still talking about it this many decades later. More than a century later. Almost 2 centuries later.
Yeah, but that's kind of par for the course when you think about it.
Maybe the first sci-fi novel, I want to say.
A lot of directors' best movies are like their first, second, third movie. They're still young, They're still young when they write them. Like, they're writing fucking Terminator 1 and all that, Fucking Predator 1 was written by some dudes that just got out of the army and fucking never wrote a fucking screenplay. Young people come up with good ideas. And Shelley came up with a good idea for her time, and it stuck, the idea of Frankenstein. But that was in the zeitgeist.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious, like, looking back, like, where she got the idea from. And the thing about it was that she came from a very prominent family and a very, like, progressive family that were kind of on the cutting edge of all the, like, scientific discoveries that were going on at that time. So she was very well versed in that. She wasn't just like some rando, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She had like a lot of elite
family.
I mean, she had a lot of background in that.
Yeah. They were weird too, though. She was had a huge crush on her dad, if I remember correctly, didn't she? Didn't she have sex with her brother?
No.
Who was that had that?
I don't think so. What are you talking about?
was it Lord Byron had sex with his sister? What was it?
I don't.
He was like lying up, or he was bragging about it. That was that was a weird.
That sounds more like a Lord Byron thing, but I don't remember.
I think it was Lord Byron.
Because Lord Byron was kind of a man-ho.
Yeah, I think he had sex with his sister.
But I don't know
and bragged
if
about
that's
it.
true or not.
I remember.
Not that I remember.
I think he might have just made that up to his fucking friends. There's no way of knowing what was true. And they were grown. I thought Mary Shelley also was kind of like had a crush on her dad. She never saw the guy. Every time she was writing. Yeah, I think it was Mary Shelley.
Maybe.
She didn't say it was a crush, but the way she's talking about him, it's
yeah.
It's a crush.
I mean,
she referred to him as that man. That kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That kind of shit. Yeah, so it was Mary Shelley. It was sus, if you ask me, and not just me saying that. I remember that there was comments about that all the way back in the that was mentioned in a book that was written in the 50s. That some weird shit happened there. It's just like dude wrote Alice in Wonderland. There's some fucking sketchy shit
we
with
did a
that
show
dude.
about him, Lewis Carroll.
You know,
That's
Lewis
not his
Carroll.
real name, but yeah. Although I don't know, I've kind of heard both ends of that. Like, some of the shit he was into was like pretty sus, but then some people said no, there was nothing to it. It's like, I don't really know. I wasn't around back then, but
If you have a grown man who's fucking
that is a little weird.
hanging around train
It was
stations,
less weird back then, probably just because of the context of the time, but it's still pretty weird.
grown men hanging around train stations to meet little homeless girls and shit and give them gifts and take pictures of them and shit like that. That's just sus. One of them was named Alice Liddell, who that's what he's talking about, Alice.
Yeah, we
Alice
did a whole
Liddell.
show about that.
Yeah.
A while back.
He had a lot of photos of her. They weren't nudes or anything. But or maybe there was some nudes, wasn't there?
I think a couple of them were.
Yeah. But the Victorians did that kind of fucking taking photographs of naked children and shit.
They're like innocent.
Like they were like cherubs and shit, doing the fucking putting wings on them and crap. But
Which, like I said, you'd get arrested for doing that nowadays. And probably rightly so. But I don't, I know they didn't see it the same way. But on the other hand...
it was the same.
Yeah, on the other hand, even if they didn't see it the same way, pervert's gonna pervert. And they're gonna, like, take advantage of the looser strictures in that time period. So,
Same shit was going on in Brazil when I lived there.
Yeah.
Pedos going after homeless kids. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not new.
Nope.
It's not new. It's just that people didn't realize... I think it was more that. I think people didn't realize back in the day.
Yeah.
That it was sinister.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, predators absolutely took advantage of the fact that most people didn't realize it was sinister or didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Because look at shit like we talked about. Who was that motherfucker that stuck pins up in his taint? Albert Fish. Like, parents at the time that he was around
Trusted other adults.
really didn't think, really didn't think anything. Yeah, sure, like, go babysit my kid like this grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays, no one in their right mind, and rightfully so, would be like, yeah, I'll trust my kid to this fucking grown man who's a fucking stranger.
He's a stranger.
No
Yeah,
fucking way.
Yeah.
Because why would that kid even want to do that? Nefarious purposes. Like, why would that dude even want to do that? Nefarious purposes.
Yeah, he's talking about, and what we're talking about, what he did to that girl is he took her to an abandoned house, told her he was going to eat her, killed her and ate her. Yeah.
He did what he
said. She cried and cried, but I ate her anyway. But I did not fuck her. That's what he wrote that.
He was very adamant about that.
Yeah, he told the parents that. Wrote him a letter that he ate her. Weird shit, but Albert Fish was the worst one.
That dude was like one of the weirdest motherfuckers. Like, and like not even because I like weird, but not.
And that was early 1900s. Early 1900s.
He was a monster.
What was that? 1907?
Shit, I don't even remember when that was. Yeah, it was early 20th century. That dude was fucking insane.
Yeah, and it was weird is that he would do weird shit to himself, like take needles and stick it up his taint. Fucking, they had him in prison. They x-rayed him. He was filled with needles that had been in there for years and years. He'd make himself suffer and shit. Yeah. Weird dude.
Yeah, I mean...
He was a, what do you call it? Sexual sadist and a sexual masochist. He hurt himself, too. He thought he was constantly trying to experience Christ's suffering on the cross to atone for his sins and shit. So he'd do shit to children and shit. I think he did kill some adults, too, didn't he? Or just children? I think he was an old man.
I don't even remember.
Well, he was doing it. He did it his whole life. He was doing it. He started that shit when he was young. But That was a sick dude. That's probably one of the sickest ones.
Yeah,
Howard
it's
Fish.
it's kind of hard to think of anybody. Like, there's a lot of fucked up dudes out there. Like,
Yeah.
I write about them all the time.
He
but,
was the weirdest one.
man, that's top tier right there.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of beyond the
I
pale.
don't think he
That-
cut any pieces of himself off, but he would do things that put himself in misery.
That sounds like some shit he
wear
would do,
things
though.
in his under his clothes and put things in his shoe to walk around and make himself fucking. He was into pain.
Like, I get some people are into that, but I don't
The
know,
whole
man.
cannibalism thing and killing children.
I don't understand.
He if I remember correctly, he got off on that. He got that idea from the Cain and the Cain and Abel story, if I remember correctly, in the Old Testament, sacrificing his son.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the funny thing about that,
was it Cain and Abel? Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they didn't eat. Nobody ate anybody in that story.
No,
But
he ate people too, because there was eating of the flesh and eat my flesh and drink my blood.
Well, like
all
I
that kind of
said,
shit.
Christianity,
it's
baby,
religious.
it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
But
the
the-
Romans believed that, or the Romans said that Christians were cannibals and did drink blood
It wouldn't
for a
shock
while.
me.
They may have been early on
It would shock me.
in the.
And then
Back
later
from
on,
Roman-
it became
Then
symbolic.
later on, it became symbolic. Yeah,
That would shock me.
he said they worship a criminal that got executed, and they drink blood and eat flesh, eat human flesh.
I mean, I get that,
That
it's
was
like
just-
it's the Romans, so obviously they're gonna have their own take on it.
yeah.
But I don't really believe the Christians take on it either. So probably like the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
When
I
it
would
first
imagine.
when it's first mentioned in Roman history, we don't, and I think it was might have been Josephus, Suetonius maybe, I don't know, Tacitus maybe. There's only like 3 or 4 sources. The Romans believed it, didn't know much about it, and they just said the shit was weird. Christianity was some weird shit.
I agree.
Yeah, and they had a lot of other weird cults, so equally weird. It was just one of the Roman cults. There wasn't anything special about it.
I mean, for the Romans to go, bro,
Yeah, that shit was weird. Yeah, they're worshiping a criminal that got executed.
and they're eating people and like
drinking
what's that
blood and
all-
eating
what's that all
human
about?
flesh. That's weird.
Yeah,
shit.
I get it. Well, and I mean, you can kind of see too, because it does seem like a lot of serial killers were, not all of them, obviously, like a lot of them had abuse and stuff like that, but a lot of them did grow up kind of like religious, especially Catholic. Well, because there's so much, I mean, all of the fucking imagery in that, and the whole like, they fetishize suffering,
Yeah.
which is probably not a great.
That seems
That's
to
not the healthiest emotional thing to
that
be
was.
doing.
I think that was the older school serial killers, though they do that.
That's what I'm talking
The later
about.
ones that weren't religious didn't do it that way. It's just
That's
if
what
you
I'm talking
happen to
about.
be religious, if you happen to be a serial killer from a religious background, you were going to interpret it in a religious way. It seemed like.
I'm every day I
Yeah.
thank the universe that I was not brought up like that.
It's
So there was
something genetic.
nothing for me to get out of. There was nothing. I just never had that mindset. So it's just kind of like,
Well, most people don't. Even the religious people don't really like that.
well, because sometimes like we watch a lot of documentaries about like cults and like people
Yeah.
getting out of cults and stuff like that, and it's just like some of them were like raised in like other cults or like super religious or anything, so it was like kind of easier for them to be sucked into this other weird ass belief system where they got abused and shit. And I was just kind of like, man, I mean, my mom's religious now, but she wasn't. She still kind of was when I was younger. But not, my family was like not religious. I never went to church. The only time I ever went to church as a kid was when I was staying with my aunt and uncle and cousins, and they went to church, and I was over there, like I slept over at the house with all my cousins, and we went to church on Sunday morning, and it was the most boring fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about it. It just never occurred to me, and it's like, when I was at school, I didn't really know a lot of people that were religious. The only person that I knew one kid who was a Jehovah's Witness, and I just felt bad for him because I felt like his parents were denying him all the cool holidays. And I didn't really know anybody else. I didn't know anybody. So it's like it didn't really occur to me.
What I thought was interesting is that there's this chick, she's on Twitter, X, named Ayla, and she started off as a real religious chick in like I would call it a Christian cult. It wasn't mainstream Christianity. And she left that, got the fuck out of there, and started working in a factory. She fucking hated that. And she had a computer, and she realized that she could make more money just in a few hours on StreamMate than she did working all day in that little fucking factory. So she became a cam girl, made a shit ton of money back in the height of fucking cam.
When that was still like, when you could still make a fuck ton
when it was,
of money.
yeah, you could
when
make
it wasn't
fuck
saturated.
It's saturated now.
Yeah.
So she got burnt out on it and then became a prostitute. She's a high-end call girl.
Which, like I said, good for her, because I couldn't do that.
And she does, and she goes on tour to see regular clients all the way all across the United States into Europe, and then she comes back and she fucking tells everybody where she's going and everything. She's fucking posting it. And she did an interview, and she said that she could have never become either a cam girl or a prostitute without having a religious background. She said that she learned mental skills in a cult, in a Christian cult, that allowed her to do it more easily.
I understand what she's
talking
talking
about.
The idea
of service and self-sacrifice, right. And the idea of fucking believing in having faith in a fucking fucking a better tomorrow and all kinds of shit. That's and not worrying. But she takes a bunch of security precautions. But
well, I would hope so. And
she also said that the repression, the sexual repression, the pent up sexuality actually gave her the energy.
I've heard that that's very helpful.
Yeah, but magical thinking also. She says to be a prostitute, you have to have a lot of magical thinking.
See, I don't have that, so that's probably why. I think I am not genetically predisposed to that. I don't think, because I remember from being very young, I didn't, and I don't know if it was just that or it was because I wasn't raised particularly religious. Like I said, family members were religious. They were like, God, this and that, but I never went to church or anything like that. It wasn't really anything we talked about. So I kind of like came to my own conclusions most of the time because, like I said, I was mostly left to my own devices, so I could like read books on my own and I could do stuff on my own. So I kind of came to a lot of my own conclusions and kind of figured shit out on my own. But it's just kind of like I don't know. So I don't have that magical thinking thing. Sometimes I don't want to say sometimes I wish I did because I don't. But it would make things easier because I do. One problem I do have is that I overthink everything, and I can think of like, what's okay. So in this situation, here's all the things that could go wrong, and that's probably not the most productive way to look at things.
She said that what she does is that her magical thinking allows her to think that she's doing this for a higher cause, that she's helping people.
I mean, she is. Really. I mean,
she's providing a service and helping them.
From a pragmatic point of view, she is helping people.
Right. She says her customers are not interesting, but in her mind, it's interesting for her that she's helping these are old guys too.
Sure.
These are old guys. Old guys that own businesses, that are married and haven't been fucking laid in fucking 15 years. The wife hasn't put out in forever. You know what I mean? And it's usually that.
See, you're lucky you have you're old, but you have a wife that puts out.
Yeah, puts out, right. Well, he doesn't look like much, and she looks like even less. And, they're in their 60s, but they look like they're in their 70s, and, it's that kind of shit.
Sure, I get it.
She posts fucking things on X sometimes, like old dudes on a farm that look like the dude from the diabetes fucking commercials. What's that guy's name? Like six of those dudes standing side by side.
From the oatmeal
commercial. Standing side by side.
He was in the thing.
Yeah, that's the customer. The dude from the diabetes commercial leaning up, and they're leaning up against and she's got, the photograph is fucking funny. There's 6 of them standing side by side on the farm, okay? Resting on the fence, the barbed wire fence. And fucking in the captions underneath it says, "Well, aren't you interesting?" That's what well, Archie.
Wilford Brimley, thank you.
Yeah, and they all got fucking smiles and shit. Yeah, well, Archie.
Thank you, Camp Guy and Jeff Yarrett.
So that's the customer profile. She's fucking honest about. She said that she raised her prices up so only those guys could afford it.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, she said that if you lower the prices, you're going to get younger guys and they're too much trouble.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, so she goes to
better to have fewer
that pay
people
more than
that you have to put up with.
That much. Exactly what she said.
That pay more.
Yeah.
Than having to put up with a bunch of like low rent motherfuckers that are a pain in the ass.
She can do it. She looks like Liv Taylor. Isn't that her name?
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler. She looks like
Steven
Liv Tyler.
Tyler's daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of admire women that can do that because, like I said, I'm not good at like pretending that I like people that I don't like.
She's always looking for boyfriends, but you got to fill out a damn fucking a fucking job application. Isn't that fucking funny?
I don't blame her.
Yeah, you got to fill a job application, and there's a bunch of questionnaires and shit. And then she leads the statistics of how many people have answered.
Well,
how many have made it to like different phases.
We've talked about this before. In her line of work, you have to cover your fucking ass, man.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just kind of like if you're looking for a long-term relationship, it's gonna have to be a special kind of dude.
That's what she's saying, right? Yeah.
Into that.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to like read out. You don't want to waste time with some motherfucker that's gonna find out what you do, and then he's gonna like get all butthurt later on.
She was doing.
So you have to like up front. Hey, this is what I do. Are you okay with it? Like you're gonna have all kind of questions about it, because some dudes will say they're okay with it, and then like a month or two down the line,
they want you to stop.
Suddenly they're not okay with it. So you kind of have to.
Yeah, and she's pulling down about $1 million a year. So fucking But anyway, she does weird shit too, because she's a part of like all these damn associations, and one of them is fucking the what do you call them? This pansexual community where they all go to her fucking house. They have a big party.
Sure.
And they fucking have not what do they call it? Non-consensual consensual sex.
Okay.
Is where everyone allowed in the party can force themselves on someone else.
But everybody that came to the party has already agreed.
Has already agreed to that, and they fucking have passed. They have passed the vetting process.
Right. You wouldn't come there if you didn't.
You wouldn't be allowed. You wouldn't be allowed to go to the party unless you wouldn't be allowed to go to the party unless all the girls have been fucking basically willing to have non-consensual sex with you.
Because they're gonna say, like, look, this is what's gonna happen probably.
Right. That's
if you're not okay with this, don't.
If it's consensual, it's not fetishized. It's got to be non-consensual.
Right.
So they're raping each other.
But consensually.
But they've agreed to that.
Sure. No, I get it. Well, some people do have that fetish.
That's the fetish, yeah.
So you have to kind of go through all these hoops
That's some weird
to be
shit.
like, it's kind of a complicated fetish to have because it's like, I want shit to happen non-consent, like not me, obviously.
Yeah, but only hot motherfuckers and only ones that I would.
Right, that's what I mean. It's just like, I want this to happen, but it's just like I don't want it to happen like in like outside of my boundaries. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you don't want it to actually happen because that would fucking suck, right?
Yeah.
But then you want it to seem like it's non-consensual, but still consensual.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, but they cater. All this catering happens, and the fucking booze and fucking. There's evidently all kinds of rules and shit too.
Well, anytime, like I said, I kind of feel like that's why anybody that doesn't know anything about like the fetish scene or anything like that, dude, you don't even understand. There are like so many rules and boundaries and stuff like that. You have to have that because otherwise people are going to take advantage. Like, look at a place like, what's that place that Tony and Lady used to go to? Secrets, yeah.
They're temporarily banned. Tony is.
For now. I don't know about Alita, but Tony.
No, she's not.
I don't know what happened, but he's banned. So, do we want to call it a swingers club? It's a resort.
Yeah.
It's a resort, and you go there, and you pay a monthly fee or whatever. You can pay a nightly fee and just go to the club or whatever. But if you go there, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. From what we've never been there. We've been invited many times, but I've never been.
You're not supposed to be staring, but evidently it happens. But...
Yeah, and but they have super strict rules about single dudes are not allowed to come because apparently in the past, and this is you could have seen this coming. They're gonna have single dudes just wandering up to the resort and like looking in people's windows and like looking at
the rooms don't
over
have,
the
I don't
pool.
think the rooms have doors on them. And they have windows into the rooms.
They do, but well,
it looks like fucking rocks and fucking waterfalls and shit. It's all exotic looking shit. It doesn't. It looks like something out of Disneyland. I got photographs of it.
Yeah, he would send us like pictures
Tony sent me a bunch
when they
of
were
pictures
there.
of their shit that they're doing in there.
Which, and like I said, I was writing a story that like based in a place like that.
I may have one that I can show.
Maybe. But so I looked it up because I was like, he keeps sending us like invites to go to this place. I'm like, what is this place?
He wants to fucking fuck her. He wants to fuck Jen.
Well, yeah, I know.
He wants to swap Jen with my ex-girlfriend. It's a deal.
Yeah. I know the deal. I know.
That's what he's trying to do.
That's what he's trying to do.
He's just he's trying to be on.
And we're just kind of like, yeah, maybe one day it won't send it up. We don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just kind of, I don't know. So I looked it up, and because I was like, well, how does this work? Because I was gonna write a story about it. And yeah, so you can either pay for the night. It's like a hotel, but different. There's like there's a nightclub there, and there's like a dungeon, and they have all kind of rules about it. But like I said, the fetish world is like super rules. Everything is rules. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to do anything that other people don't want to do. You don't want to get in trouble. It's like everybody just wants to have a good time, and so they have to have a real. So they were getting all these single dudes like just wandering onto the property, like looking in people's windows and like hanging out by the pool, like being like, "Hey, look, titties," blah blah blah, and it's just like they were having all kind of problems. So they try to enforce the rules. According to some of the Yelp reviews, they weren't super successful at it, but you know, I don't know.
I got videos, but I can't show any of those.
Well, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely can't show those. CB said, I don't like the women with the rape fetish because it's sick and they're dangerous. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Like, I kind of get it, but it's not. I don't know. I don't really. I get it because a lot of people fetishize stuff that's like wrong. You know what I mean? Or taboo. Like, I get that. So, but I don't know. I've kind of like thought about it because I, like read some erotica that was kind of about that, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm really like about that or not, Because if that really happened to you in real life, that would be fucking horrible. But then in a lot of ways, a fetish is something that's like a fantasy, and you're kind of like, well, that's not really going to happen to you, but it's like in a safe environment. So I think that's all that is. I think like women that have that fetish, they don't want it to happen to them in real life, obviously, but they want it to happen to them like in a safe framework.
I've looked through this whole thing, and there's not much I can show.
I was going to say, I can't think of a single thing that you showed me that you could show on this show.
Technically, these have underwear on, but there's...
Wait. Can I look at it first?
You're not in it.
Well, no, I know I'm not in it, but...
Yeah.
No, I was just trying to not get demonetized.
No, I think it should be okay.
You. Shit. Can I go pee?
Yeah.
Okay. While you're showing butts?
Yeah.
Random asses.
They're not random. We know who they are.
Well, I mean, to them, they're random. To us, they're not random.
Yeah.
We know who they are.
Yeah. That's kind of some shit that's been going on. No, I get updates. They're trying to get us to go. Look at this cute picture of Jen. Look at Jen. That's from one of the shoots that we did. Can't really see it. Here's a cute one of Jan. Oh, y'all want to see what my dad looks like? Because I'm always fucking impersonating my dad's fucking voice and shit. This is my dad in senior year in high school. That's him. That's him when he was a senior. I kind of looked like that when I was young. This is my granddad in the 40s when he was in the Navy. Nah, I can't show any of this. I think I showed all I could show. Yeah. Fucking perverts.
Who's pervert?
Fucking Tony and Aleta.
They are kind of.
Yeah. More Tony. Aleta's just along for the ride. She's like, okay, whatever.
Whatever. I mean, we're kind of perverts too, but we're not even on the same level. Not even on the same level. Because you like some shit that's wrong too. You like me to say all kind of wrong shit.
Yeah, I love her talking dirty, man.
And the more wrong it is,
the more he gets
into
I'm gonna
it.
fucking lose it. Yeah. I'm very verbal and imagination.
Like I said, it's not anything that you would do necessarily in real life.
No, it's shit that you're not supposed to be doing. The more wicked that shit is, the fucking more I'll fucking bust it. I'll fucking lose it. She knows what it fucking fucks
I know. Oh my god.
Yeah. Especially when my fucking test levels are high, when I'm fucking injecting a lot of shit, it's harder for me to fucking reach climax. So it has to be more. That's why fucking bodybuilders are so fucking freaky. The fitness scene is fucking filthy. It's filthy. It's because of all those hormones.
Well, like you said, like I've experienced this also because it's harder. Like you're super jacked to
fucking do
it, but
and
like you can't
reach the climax.
So it's like it has to be like really. So you have to keep like upping
intense.
the
ante.
Yeah. Like
It does the same thing to you, kind
of. It kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, it depends on what the levels are.
It kind of comes and goes.
Yeah.
You know. CB said, Tom.
Yeah.
How did you manage to get such a gorgeous woman?
That was normal for me to get gorgeous women. I got fucking pictures to prove it.
Tom always got gorgeous women. I'm not special.
No. What did it,
I'm just teasing.
She always, you know how women are, they would have interpreted it. Me and Jen were friends before we started going out. I've told this story a million times. Maybe you're a new listener. We hung out for about a year.
Maybe more.
Maybe more before we went out. And we slept with each other off and on, but we were also dating other people.
Yeah.
We became business partners in a way in the club scene. And then we were like, we spent so much time together that it didn't make sense not to fucking start going out. And then we just moved in with each other.
Yeah.
Because we got along so well, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense not to be a couple. But a lot of it had to do with other women, too, and her divorce. She was married when I met her, and when she got the divorce, there were other women saying, "Don't hook up with her. She just got divorced. Let her play the field." And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "She'll, let her fucking see her options, and let her have freedom and shit," which that made sense. I kind of felt the same way.
It did, yeah, I get it.
But part of it was those girls were gunning for me.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But they were kind of right, but they had ulterior motives.
Yeah, but it was better that it worked out that way. It wasn't something she just jumped into. Because we were friends. Really, that's the primary thing, is that you better like that person, and you better have something in common with them, and you better have similar life goals, and you better fucking... Because... See, things like superficial attraction fucking wear off quickly. So it's got to be a lot more than that.
I mean, you're going to be doing a lot of boring shit with this person.
Yeah.
So you better genuinely like hanging out with this person. Because a lot of it is not going to be...
Yeah, we've been together for almost 13 years, I think. About 13, 12,
Yeah.
13.
I mean, we've known each other longer.
Yeah.
But what year is it?
I think I met you in 2009.
I met you in 2009 or 2010. Yeah. We got together in 2011, like summer of 2011. Yeah. So however many years that's been. And then we got married last year.
Yeah. It
September 2023.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a priority to get married, but then you start getting older and you realize, well, shit, man, fucking, I gotta give this girl some fucking assurances that fucking, you know, if anything happens, I'll be there for her. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You have to.
There's all these legal things, you know what I mean? Like,
right. We didn't worry about it too much before that, but we realized we were getting to be old people. So.
Yeah, you know, fucking family members start dying, and you're going like, you gotta start planning for the future, man.
Well, and I worry about you because you do kind of like ride motorcycles and you do kind of like high risk behaviors.
Yeah.
And I told you that before. I'm like. Well, and especially after that accident that you had, like, what was it, 7-8 years ago? And you were all busted up. Like, you had your armor on, so you weren't too bad, but I did kind of worry.
The highest risk is that I get shot. That's the highest risk.
Well, yeah, with your big fat mouth, you probably... You're going to go to the biker bar, and you're going to say something sideways.
And then I'm going to start fighting somebody, and then they shoot me.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, so that's why I keep a lot of that shit to the fucking minimum.
I mean, I do kind of worry about you. Yeah. Like, every time you go out. Without me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, what is he talking about out there? He's going to, like, get punched or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, if you're a foreign listener...
I don't want our kitties to be orphans.
Yeah, if you're a foreign viewer, maybe new to the show... You live in Florida. Florida's the South. Half of it is very much the South, like the Panhandle. The other part of it is basically Central America.
I mean, pretty much.
Florida
Orlando's kind of like a mix of the two things.
Florida's a mix, you're right. Fucking Florida's cool. I mean, you have a good time here. But it has a long history of violence. The whole South does. We're fucking crazy. Yep. Even if it has... but it makes sense if you're Southern. You know the rules here. It's not a legalistic society. It never really was here. It's an honor-based society. You hurt somebody's feelings, they'll probably fucking do something to you. They don't care if it's illegal or not. They're willing to go to jail. They don't give a shit. Right?
More likely, they think they're not going to get caught.
Yeah, or they think they're not going to get caught. Which there's a chance of that. They'll strike when they can't get caught. They'll do something. But it's all right. You just gotta be cool. Well, I hang out in certain places where fucking dudes are carrying guns, which that's not a problem here. We got constitutional carry. You don't need a license to carry here. You technically can't carry one into a bar, into a place that serves alcohol.
You're not supposed to.
But a lot of these bars don't have security.
They do kind of anyway, though.
Yeah, they do.
But you're not really supposed to.
Right, so you gotta watch it. Some people say, well, shit, it's like the Wild West. No, it's far more intense than the Wild West. Far more.
The Wild West really wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that wild.
Even though we just did the show about Bass Reeves, about how dangerous the Indian territory was.
Right.
But still.
Wasn't that wild? Fucking...
But it was all spread out.
Yeah, it was all spread out. And some of the biggest shootouts of the fucking Old West, like shootout at the OK Corral, if that happened here in Florida, it wouldn't make national news. It would kind of vanish.
It would be like, well, Florida gonna Florida.
Yeah, back in the 80s, man, guys that weren't even Americans, they were from fucking Colombia, would run down the middle of the fucking streets with full auto MAC-10s fucking firing and shooting each other up in the middle of the fucking...
Cocaine wars, baby. Cocaine it was no wars. Joke.
Yeah. Yeah, and all that would happen right downtown.
Yeah, they would just, like, shoot up the fucking place.
And they'd be on the news for the day, and then it'd be forgotten.
Everybody forget about it.
You know, it's just part of the way things are here. And you can't change it. You'll never change the culture here.
We're kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I was born here. We're kind of messed up.
See, people will argue, well, see, shit, Japan doesn't have those kind of shootings because they banned guns. No, the reason why they have those kind of shootings is because Japan is filled with Japanese. And when you go to places like that, they're very orderly and very, you know, you could take every gun out of the South, and a year later they'd all be back because the crime cartels will start making them. The demand's there. You know, the kind of people that like that kind of shit is here.
It's a cultural.
It's a cultural thing.
We're beyond help.
You can't control anything. So we'll ban the ammo. They can make that. They can make designer drugs. Sophisticated technology. They can fucking. The drug cartels can make submarines. Okay.
I mean, in case you want one.
Guns and ammunition are centerfire ammunition, smokeless powder, fucking full auto weapons. That's late 1800s, early 1900s technology. Now that you have fucking 3D printing and fucking the damn fucking CNC machines, a homemade gun is fucking an M16. You can make one at home. Not the barrel, but the rest of it you can
I can't wait until 3D printers get a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make guns with it, but I'll think of some other shit.
I was trying to, this gets me onto the fucking thing about how technology has changed every fucking thing.
Which it always does.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got to you just have to roll with it.
Right. If you're in the United States or the West, you're hearing all kinds of bullshit lies from the media and the governments and everything about what's happening in Ukraine. Okay. That Russia's losing. No, fucking Russia has been kicking ass for about 2 years. The main weapon that's happening there, they're saying, well, we're going to send the M1 Abrams tank. We're going to send all this fucking shit. That won't help. And it didn't help. Every tank that they sent there, they fucking hid because any one of them that was spotted was destroyed with a fucking $170 drone that you could buy off of Amazon. Fucking, the drone has changed everything. And when an American thinks of a drone, they think of something like a fucking... The old drones, it was basically a remote control jet that fired missiles off of it. No, the drone today is a $170, $200 drone off of Amazon.
Yeah,
and you take a $60 RPG round out of a fucking which is a fucking rocket propelled grenade. And you fucking tape that to the bottom of it and run that into a $5 million M1 Abrams tank and destroy it.
Don't think I haven't thought about doing that to our neighbor that blares fucking stereo all the time.
Right. Technology
I wouldn't
changed
do that,
everything.
But I thought about it lots of times.
The basis of fucking all warfare and everything is economics. You got a $5 million tank, you destroyed it with a $200 weapon?
21st century, baby. Deal with it.
How useful is that tank? It's fucking worthless. It's fucking worthless. It's now a liability because they're going to destroy that with a $200 weapon. All right. So you can't stop anything anymore.
I mean, I'm a big advocate of, I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty laid back. And honestly, like, whatever technology comes down the pipe, I'm just going to be like, how can we... Like, every technology has good sides and bad sides. That's just, every technology has that. So I'm not getting head up about that. I'm just like, how can I use this for me? Like, how am I going to use this? But it's just kind of like, yeah, there's negatives to it, but there's negatives to everything. I'm not worried about it. I don't understand this whole mindset of just like, oh, AI or this, it's the downfall of civilization. I'm like, please look back at history. Every generation has said this, that, and the other thing is the downfall of civilization. It never is. Just calm the fuck down. I don't understand why everybody wants to be so outraged and upset about everything. Just chill the fuck out.
What are you referring to exactly?
I don't know. Everything. Okay. Just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's flipping out about AI nowadays, but I'm just kind of like, it's coming whether you... I mean, it's here pretty much. Like, whether you like it or not. So you better either learn to deal with it or shut up. There's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well shut up about it. Like, quit crying about it.
What'll happen is that people die off. So many people die every fucking year.
Well, yeah.
And they're replaced by younger people, really. And that's just like
on who have grown up with it. Well, like I said,
who grew up with it. So the young people don't give a shit about AI.
I mean, and like I said, look, I'm just kind of like, I'm the kind of person, Gen X, and I feel like we were kind of the first generation that was like this because we got raised by boomers and we didn't like that shit.
Yeah.
So we were very...
We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, we were, actually. Yeah. And it's like, so we were kind of like chilled. We were like, well, we don't want to be like that, for Christ's sake. Yeah. And we're also very adaptable because we were kind of like... We grew up in a period that, for the first half of our lives, there was not internet.
Yeah.
And then for the second half of our lives, there was, and we had to like adapt to it like really quickly. Like right when we were coming into the workforce or like a little bit older, like you had to like learn all that stuff on the fly. Like everybody had it, so we kind of grew with it, I guess. The
way I explained it to Jen, the way I saw it, I think is another way that younger people or other people might be able to understand what it was like to be Gen X. Before internet, most Gen X people knew they were being lied to.
Well, yeah.
Because we were being told things by
very
teachers.
Cynical. We're very cynical.
We were being told things by teachers in school that were obviously not true. We were told by our parents to believe in institutions that were obviously falling apart and vanishing. The idea of a company man, where you go work for some company like Ford or whatever. And
well, we were out in the world. We knew that wasn't the way things were anymore.
You go to work for Ford and you work there your whole life and you buy a house and you get a wife and a car and picket fence and barbecue out in the back. That shit was going away. We could see that was going away. It did go away. They exported all that shit out. So there was nothing the boomer could tell you when we were a kid that seemed to be true because it wasn't. Everything they were telling you to do was... Yeah, we just
immediately were like, well, y'all are full of shit.
Yeah, and they're giving you the same advice their parents gave them back in the 40s.
Which is obviously
that world was
not
long gone.
Relevant anymore. Right.
So we became real skeptical and independent and fucking kind of didn't talk to them. All right. Internet came. Well, before internet, we lived in a world of lies. And then when internet first came out, there was no social media. We started to get little bits of the truth because you could now sidestep television. And you had all kinds of these weird websites showing up that would show you shit that was happening, or
which was mostly like discussion boards back in the old days.
Discussion boards and shit. Yeah, and next thing you know, I'm fucking on AK47.net talking to a dude in Russia at the fucking Tula Arsenal, and he's making and designing AK parts, their shit collapsed. You could send him some money, and he would send you rare AK parts from the factory that he worked in. And he was like an upper senior manager there. He died. I was friends with him for a long, long time. He died in about 2009. Went under the screen name Tantal was his name. It fucking just weird shit. So we were going underneath the radar.
Yeah.
And finding out what was really happening. Shit that they didn't tell you on television. Well, social media came, and then you can see even more clearly lies, because you can access information from anywhere in the world if you really want to know, and get another side to that story, or find the source material where the story comes from, or the video where the story comes from. You know what I mean? Somebody got it on, captured it on their cell phone. News fucking agencies didn't capture it on fucking cameras in their fucking camera van. That shit's a dinosaur technology. No, the news story's based on something captured on somebody's cell phone. So each person is a fucking news agency, or could be a cameraman for a news agency. It's a whole new fucking ball game.
Which, like I said, I'm fine with that.
Now,
I'm fine with that.
Used to be the only weird shit you could hear would be on an Art Bell fucking radio show. Fucking coast to coast. They had good fucking guests and had fucked up guests, but it was all entertainment. Now you can get that.
Taking an elevator to Mars. That was the one I always remember.
Now you can listen to fucking professors at fucking MIT talk about cosmology, and get you can fucking get knowledge that you could have only fucking dreamt of having.
And then you have to pay out the nose for.
To pay out the nose. All right.
See, you can learn anything. You want to learn anything.
Now, I heard an analogy that millennials, the way they were raised kind of in an intermediate place where there was internet, but they were being lied to a lot by the internet. And the way their schooling was. They're not like boomers, they're a different thing. But what came after them are Gen Z. And Gen Z grew up knowing that they were being lied to. So they're a lot like Gen X. Gen Z and Gen X evidently are like spiritually compatible.
I've heard that.
They were both fucking very skeptical and independent thinkers.
I mean,
And nonconformists.
I don't like being old,
Uh,
but I wouldn't trade growing up at the time we grew up for anything. I liked being on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we were there for the development of it, or we saw the whole thing, like, blossoming. Yeah. So I think that's kind of why, well, and a lot of Gen Xers were instrumental in developing that as well. So we kind of, like, even though we didn't grow up with it, like kids nowadays do, we were there for the whole, you know, leading up to it. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of feel like we still kind of, like, bathed in it just like they did, even though we didn't grow up with it. So I'm kind of glad that we got, I think that's kind of like the ideal situation, because we got both sides. We grew up without it, but then we were still young enough to, you know, get into it. Because I'm trying to think when we first got when we first got the internet. 94, 95, something like that. And I was like 4 or 5 years out of high school. So I was like in my 20s. So like my whole entire childhood and my whole entire teens, we didn't have it. But then when I was a little bit older, like college age, like we started getting it, and then we started getting into it. So I like that we had both things. You know? I wouldn't really trade that, because it's like that's kind of a singular experience. Yeah. Oracle said we also grew up in a time of awesome movies. We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oracle says you are special, Jenny.
Yeah. that was referring to for way back.
I know.
No. I like to. I heard there's this guy who wrote a book called The End of Everything, and he was a guest on a show I was listening to, and we are now witnessing the end of everything. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the apocalypse and we're all going to die.
No, of course not.
It means that the old world is dead. It's just that the new world has not yet arrived. We're in a fucking in-between place. The old models don't work.
Yeah.
The old institutions don't work. All right? Especially here in the United States. Because the United States had basically evolved into an empire. They've evolved into basically the second part of the British Empire. We're going to lose that empire. We just lost it. When we got driven out of Afghanistan, that was the beginning of the end. But you have to hold that together with military power, and the military power that we had back then was naval power. You can't do it with naval power anymore. Hypersonic missiles will send an entire navy down to the bottom in a single day. So the age of empire is now over. You can only control the land that you occupy on your continent, and then the borders that you have. You can't control other countries. They're going to do whatever they want. And the rich people that own the United States and Europe and Australia, okay, they thought they were going to be the hegemons. In other words, a global government where they would run the world the way they saw fit for their own profits. Yeah, good fucking luck. Good luck with that. The proof that I'm going to point at is Iran. Forever we've been told we need to bomb the shit out of Iran. Oh, they're not listening to us. Back in the day, we would have put a couple aircraft carriers out there fucking recently when they fucking blew up that damn thing. Just who gives a fuck what they did? You know, they did something small. Back in the day, we would have put a couple aircraft carriers off their coast and fucking done a bunch of airstrikes on them until they yielded. You can't do that now. Russia gave them a bunch of hypersonic missiles. They'd send those damn fucking aircraft carriers to the bottom. And what are you going to do then? Launch ICBMs? The ICBMs will be shot down. That's old technology. And I'm not even sure we have an ICBM missile fleet. Those things were fucking complicated to keep running. Most of our nuclear stuff is just Tomahawk cruise missiles coming out of submarines. And a Tomahawk is fucking slow. That's just a jet engine. One of those Kinjal missiles fucking that Iran has will shoot that Tomahawk down. So your nuclear deterrence will never hit the target. They'll just shoot all that shit down. So this whole idea of running the world under fear, you know, of fucking nuclear annihilation, that's 20th century. That's gone. You can't do that. You get your ass handed to you. Everybody has technology now. And some of these countries, and some of these countries that we consider inferior to us have better military stuff than we have because it's more up to date. Like I said, they got a bunch of them fucking $200 damn drones that they got off of Amazon. They just
like I
put
said,
a fucking bomb on it, land it right on a
technology is like it's ubiquitous and it's
constantly
super
changing.
cheap.
Yeah. You know, and our military industrial complex will never allow cheap weapons. They'll lose their profit margin.
Well, like I said,
so
you just have to understand that shit changes
It's
all
changed.
the time.
Yeah.
You got to keep up with shit. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that you have to do that, but you do.
Yeah.
You do.
But
And especially nowadays because shit changes every
Yeah.
fucking day.
yeah, but the
Keep
concept,
on top of it.
The concept of one country taking over the world and dominating it, all right, is an 18th century concept. You know what I mean? That's like something out of old
Yeah, I'm not
old
sure that
European
could
empire.
really happen.
That'll
anymore.
never happen today. Never. So they just need to give it up, man. That ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna control Russia or China.
Like I said, just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that shit now.
Yeah. Everybody's got that shit.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna
I know.
sanction their banks. They can print money too. They don't need your banks. This isn't fucking 1991.
Like I said, it's a very boomer mentality.
It's a boomer mentality. Yeah.
We're king of the world. We
king-
can do
run
whatever
these
we
people.
want.
Yeah, that's not America.
They're inferior.
They're supposed to listen
right?
to us.
Yeah.
You know. Hey,
Shit
they don't
that-
believe in democracy. We should
hasn't,
blow them up.
Shit hasn't worked like that for decades.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
get on the clue bus.
They're not democratic. We're going to blow them up.
I mean, you know, I'm just saying.
They've chosen something else. You know, we can't have that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Blair Dude says, "Hey Tom and Jen, don't forget Dr. Robert M. Price is a Lovecraft nerd. Oh, we know.
Yeah, Bryce.
As well as an original Star Trek and comic book superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually on.
He was on our show.
He was on our show a couple of times, and the Lovecraft documentary. What's it called? Fear of the Unknown.
Yeah.
Which is a good documentary, by the way. Guillermo del Toro is on there. Like Neil Gaiman's on there, and Robert Price is on there as well.
Yeah.
Talking about H.P. Lovecraft. It's a good documentary.
We gotta get the software hooked up so we can have guests again. It'd be nice to have other creators on.
Yeah.
So we can have a background, and then it's the split screen type technology.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of people that want to come on.
Yeah.
You know.
Goodness, why did I do that?
But we have, you can't just call up though. We have to make an appointment with us because some of the shows we just got to do. But the fucking Fridays would be a good day to have guests.
Yeah, we can just talk about
Some subject. Yeah.
fun bullshit.
Yeah.
We want Jeffrey Combs on.
Yeah.
we want him to drink with us and talk about bullshit.
Do you guys know some good software that we should have for that to stream with?
I'll find it.
Just drop it. You can either drop it in the comment section if they know good ones. If not, Jen.
Like I said, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Just like I do with everything. Like I said, I'm Gen X. I figure out everything.
She figured it out.
I figured out everything on my
There's
own.
software that we have to have for it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You can. I think you can do it on here, but I have to figure out how to configure it.
Okay.
That's all. But yeah. So Blair Dude said, "Cool."
But he didn't know that he was on the show. No, he was.
Yeah,
on the show
he was
years
on the
back.
show once or twice.
I think it was once.
Maybe once.
It was.
I know Angry Gay Pope was on
Historicity
it.
of Jesus. Yeah, we
had a whole show about that.
Yeah,
and
we
talked
had
to him.
Angry Gay Pope on too, talking about Scientology.
He's been on 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 times? I thought it was once.
Maybe 3 times.
Maybe 3 times?
I think it was 3 times.
All right.
So we had him on. Like we had Robert Price on. I think the only other guest we had was the guy that for Summerwind.
He bought Summerwind.
Summerwind.
Yeah.
The guy that brought Summerwind.
Yeah.
We had him on. We did a paranormal show.
He either bought Summerwind or he did an investigation on it. I don't remember.
Yeah. Like we were talking about him because I get messages from him every now and then still.
We wanting to come back on the show.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we can get that shit hooked on, we can have some of the old guests back. We have new guests too.
Yeah, I mean we could have like all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's probably better to do it Friday because we wouldn't have like for the Wednesday show I like to have everybody like all the YouTube members and all the Patreon people like vote on the topic.
We could also have some of our regulars on, maybe, seeing who they are, as long as they're sober. Or not as drunk as we are.
I mean, we're not sober.
Put Murder Hornet on there. That motherfucker would be just like slurring all over the fucking place. And then wanting to fucking, Tom, you motherfucker, I'm going to peg you and all kinds of, because he's ex-army, so he's going to fucking say all kinds of sexual shit.
He going to peg you on the show.
Because he heard you say it, I'm going to peg you. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You better send me a picture of your girlfriend's titties. shit.
He does do that.
Yeah. I says, dude, wait. That shit's got to be spontaneous, man. I don't send fake video or fake photos. It's got to be in the moment.
Are you gonna
when
say
Jen's looking good, I'll fucking pull that shit up. Yeah.
So you don't take pictures because I'm not looking good?
Yeah,
usually?
I might be back there fucking hitting it one day, and it says, look at this fucking site. This is awesome. I could snap a picture of it and fucking share it.
Yeah, you might do that.
Yeah, it's gonna cost them though.
You and the boobs.
The doll's coming.
I didn't know if you were going to say anything about the boob change.
The boob change. Oh,
Yeah.
you want to talk about that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know if you were going to bring it up, so I thought I would.
So you brought it up. So
no, I vaguely mentioned it. I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up or not, because that sounds like something that you would bring up.
Jen's fucking boobs have changed. For the better. So she's on the MPP Naturalone, and I was talking. The areolas are bigger and they're darker. So man, this is looking fucking good. They're even kind of getting. So I fucking talked to a buddy of mine who's in the industry, and his girlfriend's on shit. His wife is on shit too. And I said, "Have you noticed? Have you noticed on your wife if anything's changed with the areolas?" And he's like, "No." But then we were talking about what she takes, and I said, "There's something happening here with this and that," and he goes, "Oh, nandrolone." Well, it's just progesterone does that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, of course," because nandrolone has a lot of progesterone byproducts in it that happen. It's progesteronic a lot. So a woman can start having signs of pregnancy slightly, or increased secondary sexual characteristics. In other words, the way she's built. And shit has happened since the last shoots that we've done. Jen's looking fucking great. All right, but we're gonna unveil this shit towards the end of this cycle, maybe another month or so.
The reason I thought it was weird because it was literally like only 2 days ago, and I'm like stupid because Tom will be like, "Hey, this and that," and it's like I don't notice that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't look at myself that critically all the time.
Remember what I said yesterday? I said, "Man, are you sweating? I'm sweating." Because we went on cycle around the same time. Yeah. Which means that the cycle is now starting to take its effect. So that's why it happens so quickly. Because it has to kind of back. It takes a while for the system to react to it. It's been about 2.5, 3 weeks.
So what I'm saying is that for something
it's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
For something like for me to notice it.
Yeah.
It has to be significant because it's like I said, I don't look at myself with like a fine tooth comb or anything like that like he does.
She's laying next to me on her side and shit. And I'm
we'll know 2 days ago. Yeah. I'm just like I'm in the bathroom and I'm getting ready to go in the shower or whatever. I'm like, what is this? What is this about? Like I thought, it looked
like red,
different.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks different.
Yeah.
And then like literally this morning, he's like, "Are your areolas bigger?" And I was like, "Bitch, I just." Looked in the mirror and I said the same thing to myself like 2 days ago. And I was like, it has to be a big deal for me to notice it because I wouldn't notice it.
Bigger and darker.
Kind of crap. Bigger and the fact he's like, they look a lot different.
And they're slightly lifting off of the...
Weird.
I thought it looked awesome.
All kind of weird shit is going on. Yeah, it's not bad awesome, weird. I'm just saying it's like... Yeah. It's a lot of weird shit that's going on. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. A lot of weird shit. Like I said, I don't usually notice that kind of shit, so it has to be significant for me to notice it. So the fact that I just noticed it in passing, because I was like, wait, what? That doesn't look the same. And then the fact that you said something about it like a day or two later, I was like, okay, well, it obviously is
hormones. Hormones and hormone analogs, which is what we're doing.
Sure. I mean,
so progesterone.
It's a journey. It's like all kind of weird shit.
There's a reason why people in the industry
all kind of weird shit is going on.
There's high performance. They call them drugs. They're not really a drug. They're more like fucking customized fucking hormones.
Yeah, Tammy said, that happens to women when they get pregnant. Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I was just kind of like, wait, what the fuck? Like, look, I've already been through menopause, y'all. It's like I'm not getting pregnant.
You will no,
but it's simulating.
Yeah, your body responds to the hormones to hormones no matter what your status is. Your status is dictated
I better
by
not get
those
pregnant
hormones.
for real. I'm
No,
too
you
old.
won't. You won't get
I'm
pregnant.
too old for that shit.
You won't get pregnant. You shouldn't. Your cycle hasn't started back up.
No, that's true.
But, you know, so you can't. It's just that, as far as your body's concerned, you are, because you have those hormones in there.
Right.
So.
But like I said,
But
it has to have been a big change for me to have noticed it.
But other
'cause
things,
honestly, I wouldn't
haven't
normally
changed. Your
notice.
belly hasn't fucking bloated out or anything. There's no baby in there. You're not holding a lot. You're not holding on fat. You know what I mean? It's just,
That's
like
true.
I said, it's just, and your shape is fucking getting amazing. You know, Toby, our gay friend, is going, God, look at the ass on her. And I said, tell her that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He says, you got a nice ass, and I'm gay. I said, tell her.
He's an old gay man.
Yeah, that's my leather daddy, buddy. She goes, he goes, you got a nice ass, and I'm gay. I'm telling you, you got a nice ass. But Toby loves her.
He's like, you know.
Toby loves her though.
He does.
That
yeah.
bitch gets drunk and he
loves her.
starts getting all handsy on everybody. Says, hey, you said that. No. Club action here. Club action here in fucking gothic industrial
I love
Finnish
it.
land is fucking wild.
And the old people are crazy.
The old people are the worst because we've been around for fucking decades, and we got real thick skin, and nothing fucking bothers
Phases
us.
us
Nothing
at all.
phases us. And
Because
fucking-
we've seen it all. At
Yeah.
this point.
and fucking
It's awesome. I
yeah,
love
and
it.
you got people, straight people, gay people, bisexual people, transgender people. It's mostly straight people and bisexual people, probably. Mostly them, but those motherfuckers would play. If they're friends of yours, they're gonna play all kinds of chicken with you. You know, when they're drunk. You know, like Dr. Mike.
He's our veterinarian.
Yeah, he's a
he's
veterinarian.
an awesome veterinarian.
It's
by
fucking
the way.
hilarious, man. And he would do shit like put his hand inside my pocket and try to get me fucking freak out over it. If you react to it, he's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Are you gay?" You know, shit like that. Just weird shit like that, you know. So he does shit like that. So you have to ignore it, like he didn't do nothing. You know what I mean?
He will also like pinch your nipple.
Yeah. He fucking jumped on the back of me and started grinding like that. And I just looked at him and says, "I don't feel nothing." And then the girl that was standing in front of me busted up laughing. I said, "I don't feel nothing."
You
don't
just
feel
have to
nothing?" I
like
said, "I don't
not
feel
react.
nothing."
You can't.
You're not fucking packing anything, man. I don't fucking feel nothing. He's laughing his ass off.
I'm not satisfied right now. I'm not satisfied.
Right. And if you fucking think that this is just some shit with freaky ass fucking fetishy goth people,
I mean, we're not
and
that weird.
the army.
Are we?
No. But see, you could think that the army was even fucking worse. Okay, and I'm not talking about the gay army. I was back in the straight army, and those dudes were fucking terrible, because the whole idea was just to get underneath your skin and to fuck with you. You know what I mean? It was just,
Well,
and if you reacted to it, then you were just fucking weak. You know what I mean? And everything had to be flipped around. It was like a psychological wrestling match of who was the woman. You know what I mean? You constantly had to redefine everything to put the dude you're talking to in the female position. You know, and he's trying to do it back. It's just flipping back and forth, and it was just mental gymnastics. You know, now you're not doing it on duty or something. You know what I mean? But it's just fucking crazy. You know,
I don't know. It's
civilians wouldn't understand it.
we do though because we do the same shit all the
some
time.
do,
Like you know.
yeah.
But like I said, it's just kind of like a whole thing where, well, and it helps too that a lot of us have been around
Yeah.
forever because we're all old, so we like know each other, so we know that that's a good person. They're not gonna like do anything fucked up or anything like that. It's just like a joke. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he's just fucking with you.
Yeah, he's just
Put his
fucking-
hand in your pocket and shit. Standing next to you with his hand in his pocket.
He just
If
gets
you-
away. He
yeah.
can do like literally whatever
yeah.
because everybody knows him. Everybody.
Yeah. If you pull his hand out of his pocket, he's, what are you getting so sensitive about? what you think you start fucking with me? And this dude looks like Riff Raff from fucking
A bit, yeah.
bit like Riff
Not
Raff.
as old as Riff.
Not as old as Riff.
but
Look at Riff Raff from fucking
Rocky Horror
Rocky
Picture
Horror.
Show.
It's fucking thin on top with long, stringy fucking hair.
Got his Christian Death shirt on.
Christian Death shirt on. He starts dancing like he's a fucking scarecrow and shit. Like, and then he just, just fucking, It's fucking hilarious, man.
He's something, man.
And he's
I like him.
Yeah,
everybody likes him.
Yeah, and he's real intelligent. And if you ask him anything about fucking zoology, he knows everything about fucking animals and fucking how to fix shit and fucking and
yeah, he'll get like
too.
serious about it, and
Yeah,
he'll just like go on and on.
Yeah. He smiles and he got teeth like a jack-o'-lantern. Fucking, he's just fucking funny, man.
He's awesome.
And he smells like patchouli like a motherfucker and dragon's blood.
He smells good though.
Yeah, you can smell him come around.
Every time he comes in, I'm like, he smells so good. And if he hugs you, you smell like that all night.
Yeah, you smell like that all night.
But that's okay because it's a good smell. I kind of feel he makes his own scent.
It's his own scent, but it smells like patchouli.
It's patchouli, blood. And I think it's dragon's blood.
It's dragon's blood,
which was my go-to when I was a young goth in the 80s.
It's dragon's blood and fucking frankincense and myrrh. I think is what it is.
It might be, yeah.
Frankincense.
It's it smells really good.
He's mixing it together.
And you can tell when he comes in the club, like when he's about 20 feet away, because you can smell it. And you're like, Dr. Michael must be here somewhere because I smell him. But it's a good smell. And like I said, if he hugs you, like last week, or the week before last, when we were there Saturday night, like I think I hugged him on the way out, and I was just like, when we got home, I was like, man, I still smell like Dr. Michael.
Yeah.
CB says, have you done fetish spin the bottle and truth or dare?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think we've ever had anything like that.
No.
We've been to a lot of fetish parties and stuff like that, but we haven't.
Not much happens at them.
Not really.
No.
Not really. It's not as exciting as maybe people think.
More fashion than anything else.
I mean, there's shit going on, but...
Well, some of them, but not the ones that we went to.
Now, I've been to some, like, before I met you.
Yeah.
Where a lot of that shit was going on. But even then, it's just like, if you don't want to get involved, you don't have to. You can just kind of watch it or...
Dimitri has DJ'd. He's a real well-known DJ here. He DJs at the club. He's DJ'd at fetish events in mansions in this area with fucking rich people in it. Where the people from the fetish scene go to that. These aren't goth people, although some of the fetish people do have a goth look, or some of them are gothic. But gothic people in general don't do this. But this is like a fetish thing. And he's been to some of them where it's like something out of fucking Eyes Wide Shut, kind of. The fetish is to pimp your wife out to these fucking rich old men. And that's the fetish. It's prostitution, though. That's illegal. Even though it's like a weird fetish of her pretending like she doesn't want to do it and just...
It's a whole thing.
The whole fucking thing. Yeah, and these dudes are like in their 60s and 70s. And the women are 20s and 30s, maybe 40s. You know, maybe a little bit older, but 20s and 30s mostly. And that's this fetish scene. It's about power playing type weird shit. And then there might be other people actually having sex in public, or not in public, but you know, up on a pool table or something.
Sure.
It might be a dude with 2-3 women. You don't know. Could be anything. But he DJ'd at events like that. I didn't see it, you know, but he just told me, and that was a long time ago. Now, what he was talking about is he was talking about around the 2005 time, 2006. I don't think he's done it recently.
Yeah, last time I went to like a really big like hardcore fetish party was like before I met you.
Yeah.
That was like a long time ago. That was like down in Miami somewhere. Fort Lauderdale, I think that was.
Yeah.
But it's like even then, man, all I remember from being there was I remember they had like all this they had all the screens. They had like a bunch of like play areas and stuff like that, but they had like all these screens going like showing different porn, and it's like, man, they had fucking scat porn on.
Yeah. Anything that would upset you?
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Are we doing that? At least I didn't have to see any of that live or smell any of it live. Not really. I'm not shitting on you if that's your thing, but no thanks. No thanks.
That's nasty.
It is kind of nasty, but like I said, if it's consenting adults, I don't care. As long as you're doing it in your own house and I don't have to look at it.
Yeah, right.
I don't really give a crap.
Smell around here.
But yeah, I'm not really into that.
See what time it is.
It's kind of gross. It's 10:49.
Yeah, it's about time to fucking close it down, Jen. We'll get something to eat.
Yeah, I'm starving.
Want some more chicken?
Yeah, honestly, I've had one bowl of stew today, many hours ago, and that was it.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I'll make us something to eat.
Okay. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for the evening, I guess. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for super chats.
Yep.
We will be back on Monday night talking about a movie. I don't know which one yet because we haven't watched it. I might put up a crime and memorial video sometime this weekend. I have the script like written all out and everything like that, but I haven't recorded it yet. But I'm gonna hopefully I can do that this weekend and maybe put it up Monday is what the plan is. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, Monday night we'll do a movie review. We might do another James Bond, or we might just do something random. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do. Whatever we feel like doing, because that's what we usually do. But yeah, thanks everybody for dropping by. Thanks for Super Chats this evening. And we will see you guys again on Monday night. Good night.